You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? It's Harmless Phosphorescence. Hello, everyone. This is Winged Freak Thoreau Smiley. I am joined by...
I'm Josh Cece, and I don't know if it's art, but I like it.
I'm Brian Lesh. American Express. Don't leave home without it.
It's Alaric Weber. Sugar bumps.
This is Harmless Phosphorescence, the podcast where we watch every theatrically released full-length live-action superhero movie ever made. We gather some research into the production and the source material, and then we tell you about it. This week, we are watching 1989's Batman.
I want him taken alive. I repeat, any man who opens fire on Jack Napier will answer to me.
I heard the bat guy.
The bat? Oh, man, give me a break, will you?
5 stories straight down.
Hey, shut up, man. Listen to me. There ain't no bat.
Hi. Bruce Wayne.
Are you sure?
I'd like you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me. I'm Batman.
Every punk in this town is scared stiff. You know what they say? They say he can't be killed. They say he drinks blood.
Terrorizes. Wait till they get a load of me.
Jack.
Jack is dead, my friend. You can call me Joker.
The police have got it wrong. They're looking for one product. The Joker's tainted hundreds of chemicals at the source.
He's been using Brand X. Joker brand. I get a grand again and again.
Batman.
Wow.
Released June 23rd, 1989, with a running time of 126 minutes. Not midgets.
My birthday's the 22nd. This came out the day after my birthday.
Yeah.
That was a great birthday, I bet.
Yeah, I bet it was. A budget of $35 million. Box office, $411.5 million. Adjusted for inflation, today that would be $851 million.
Oh, man.
It was a certified hit.
A good chunk of that was my money.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Not to mention what it did on video.
And
'Cause-
toy sales.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
we'll get into toy
Merchandising?
sales.
Yeah.
There's a story about the toy sales. We
Also,
will get into
yeah.
that. But first, we are going to start. We're going to go way, way back and talk about these characters. Al, do you have anything to tell us about these guys?
Well, so we already talked about Batman for Batman 66.
Yeah.
So I focused on the Joker for this round.
Cool.
DC Universe had a pretty awesome encyclopedia article. They've got articles on most of their characters.
Oh, nice.
So I didn't even bother with Wikipedia this time.
Just moving on up.
Yeah, snob.
Just suck it, Wikipedia.
They only need $3.
Support Wikipedia, folks.
The Joker, also known as the Clown Prince of Crime. No name strikes terror into the hearts of Gotham City's citizens quite like the Joker, a complete psychopath with no moral compass whatsoever, whose real name and identity remain completely unknown. Characterized by his chalk-white skin, green hair, and a permanent rictus grin stretched across his face, he is the Dark Knight's most formidable nemesis. While Batman represents justice and order, the Joker is his complete opposite, seeing himself as an agent of chaos, the living embodiment of the cruel randomness of fate. Kind of reminded me of the comedian from The Watchmen, definitely based on the persona here, seeing the comedy in cruelty.
Yeah.
The Joker's psychosis causes his personality to shift between goofy prankster and mass murderer on a dime. It's this unpredictability that really makes him such a dangerous opponent.
Yeah,
I thought it was the face tats.
exactly.
This is those gold teeth. No. Joker's first appearance was in Batman #1, spring of 1940.
Wow, that's quite from his debut in Detective Comics. That was 1927, right?
No, that was
No. That was Detective Comics number 27. But
39, I believe.
May
39.
May of 1939.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back.
This was, it didn't have a month attached to it. It was just spring of 1940.
Okay,
that issue.
Quite a spring for...
Wow.
yeah. Yeah.
In
winter for Poland and France.
Yeah. But that came out, the Joker.
So Joker, he murdered his victims with a toxin, eventually called Joker venom, that left their corpses with a chilling grin, much like Joker's own.
Joker venom?
Joker venom, yeah.
This snake's gonna bite.
He's got
Not
a
like
pocket
laughing
snake
gas,
too.
you know? Like,
Right, yeah. Yeah.
In
Joker gas.
1951, Detective Comics #168, we see Joker's first origin story. His true name was never stated, and he was originally a criminal called the Red Hood. He confronted Batman in a chemical plant and fell into a vat of chemicals trying to escape, emerged with his white skin, green hair, and permanent grin. But again, they never said his name.
Right.
Now, was he was based by Kane and Fingers, I believe, on The Man Who Smiled.
Right. Veet was the last name of the actor.
It was I don't think I actually know.
Conrad Veet.
Yes.
Conrad Veet, and yeah, you can Google his image.
I could.
Well, he's exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's not like he was loosely based. Like they took his image.
Yeah, exactly on his image. And interestingly enough, I was just listening to did you guys ever listen to the DGA podcast, Directors Guild of America podcast? Directors.
I'm not in the guild, so I didn't.
It's okay.
I'm behind on my
for
dues.
Everybody. It's
So,
for the people.
yeah.
But Ivan Reitman was interviewing Todd Phillips about Joker.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and for Joker, he said he based a large part of the writing of the script on the film itself, The Man Who Smiled.
Man Who Laughed.
Man Who Laughs.
Really?
Yeah, which I've never actually seen the movie, so I'm really curious to see.
Wonder if it's like a Criterion or where you can find it.
Yeah, I bet it's a Criterion. But anyways, Al, please tell us more.
All right. Jump forward to 1988, just talking about origin story. In The Killing Joke, written by Alan Moore, art by Brian Boland, they mention that the story is he's a failed comedian who turned to crime as the Red Hood to support his pregnant wife.
Mm-hmm. Did anyone read the little Tim Burton note about Killing Joke?
It's the only comic you ever read.
Yeah. It was the only one that made sense to him, which is that's interesting.
I was reading about that because there's a lot of, not to totally derail this conversation, but to talk about that in particular, because he got a lot of heat for that.
Right.
Him and Kevin Smith had like a very public spat.
I remember
about
that. Yeah.
And I was reading that I don't know if it was Tim Burton himself, but somebody was trying to clarify that he's dyslexic.
Yeah,
and he
didn't
has
know the
trouble
order.
reading comic books because they are not a linear format.
Yes.
So it's interesting, just to see this public stupid
I don't read comic
falling
books.
out.
Yeah, it
because
wasn't that he
said
doesn't
this.
like comic books. He just did not read them because he couldn't follow.
I don't know where they stand now because
I wonder if he can
very
do
prominent
manga.
creators. But yeah, it was just an interesting thing about
But of all the comics, like
the Killing
this one
Joke in
finally-
particular.
yeah, he was
Yeah,
able to
and-
read this, and what a terrifying story.
But yeah, that he can't read comics. But that's such a cinematic comic. If you guys haven't read it,
Oh,
or if
yeah.
you haven't
Oh,
read it, if
yeah.
you're listening,
I
it's fantastic.
All right, now.
Yeah,
Killing
sorry,
Joke?
but yeah, Killing Joke.
No, I
Yes.
thought that was an interesting tidbit.
In the Killing Joke, his wife dies, and he is forced to still finish the crime that he's supposed to do, and he has the chemical bath accident. However, Joker admits in this story to having conflicting memories, and he says that he prefers his past to be multiple choice.
That's taken to its logical conclusion in The Dark Knight.
Right.
Yeah.
Where he
Yeah,
keeps
absolutely.
giving different origin stories
Yeah.
to different people.
Very Rashomon, like what is actually happening.
Yeah.
What do you believe?
In The Killing Joke, Joker shoots Barbara Gordon, paralyzing her from the waist down. At the end, subdued by Batman, he tells a joke that actually makes Batman laugh. I think that was one of the only times that Batman
He's a tough
laughed.
audience.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's not a lot funny.
And
The Joker's not.
he's
very
not
good
good
at
at
telling
parties.
jokes.
Joker's
yeah.
not very
Yeah, let's
funny.
face
No, he was not a good comedian. Yeah, that's true.
The Joker has no natural metahuman powers or abilities. He carries an assortment of weaponized props, his cane, a deck of razor-sharp playing cards, booby-trapped jack-in-the-boxes, explosive gag items, acid-spraying lapel flower, high-voltage joy buzzer, and his signature nerve toxin.
And like some Visine and some Excedrin just in case he gets
A little bit of Neosporin.
right in case.
Joker is not a highly skilled combatant, but he can hold his own in a fight. In his psychosis, he often simply refuses to acknowledge pain.
Yeah, or is a masochist.
Yeah, enjoys the pain.
Right. There's that.
Yeah, he's got that classic comic book superpower of luck too.
Well,
He's
yes.
incredibly
That's
like
true.
fortunate and creating chaos and using it to his advantage.
In the golden age of comics, 1940 to 1955, in his first 12 stories, Joker murdered some 36 people. His murderous tendencies declined as Batman's popularity with younger readers grew.
They nerfed him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the Silver Age, 56 to 69, Joker became more of a nuisance than a deadly killer. His murderous tendencies all but vanished.
Kind of like the IRA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
So the Silver Age of comics led to the playful portrayal of the Joker by one Cesar Romero.
who we saw in Batman 66.
Currently standing at number 2.
Mustache and all.
Yes.
We never saw the origins of the mustache. But
Yeah, the painted mustache.
Joker did not.
that's the name of my CD brothel,
The painted mustache.
like in a crime noir story.
Oh my.
All right. You were saying?
I was saying Joker would not appear in comics for 4 years after the TV show's cancellation.
Huh.
Oh.
They blamed it on him. Even though they had King Tut and Egghead.
In the Bronze Age, 1970 to 84, is when Joker came back. 1971, he returns along with his murderous ways, getting more deadly. In 1975, Joker gets his own self-titled series, the first one for a DC supervillain.
Wow.
Okay.
The modern age,
Is he the first villain to ever get his own like
In DC, definitely.
story? 'Cause, I mean,
in DC, yes, I don't know about Marvel.
I can't think of them doing
Yeah, I
like
can't
villain
imagine.
stories
I mean,
until
Magneto?
the 90s.
Magneto definitely wouldn't have gotten one.
He didn't have his own. No, Dr. Doom didn't have his own.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, just he's probably the first,
Yeah.
major
That's
character
awesome.
at least.
I mean, he's probably the most well-known super villain on Earth, I'd say.
I'd say. Yeah.
I don't know that purple guy now, man.
And then
now, yeah.
Harvey
Very
Weinstein.
popular. Yeah. Also,
The modern age, which started in 85 with the Crisis of Infinite Earths, Joker was much darker and deadlier than ever before.
Yeah.
In 1988, again, The Killing Joke, he cripples Barbara Gordon and he tries to drive Jim Gordon insane.
Yep.
Also, 1988, A Death in the Family.
Yeah.
Joker kidnaps Jason Todd, the second Robin, beats him to death with a crowbar.
Yep.
And then blows him and his mother up with a bomb.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And this I did not know, or I had forgotten. There was a 900 number gimmick where readers could call in to vote on whether Jason Todd would live or die.
I remember that.
Jeez.
Wow. And he got badly voted down. Like, it was crushing.
Kill him.
Yeah.
We love the Joker.
I think more people voted
Crazy.
in that than...
That's the important history up until 1988. A little condensed. On screen, Joker would be portrayed by Cesar Romero, Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger, Cameron Monaghan in Gotham, Jared Leto, and now Joaquin Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
In animation, he has been voiced by Larry Storch.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's Hogan from Hogan's Heroes. Wow, cool.
I imagine the what was it, like the Super Friends or something?
Probably something.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I thought you
I
knew.
was like, how dare you ask me? All right, Larry Storch.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's awesome. I had no idea.
my hand was starting to get tired, so from writing,
okay.
I'm getting writer's cramp.
All right, you'll still get full credit.
Thank you. Larry Storch, Lenny Weinrib, Frank Welker,
Oh, wow.
who did Fred and Scooby,
Yeah.
Oh, wow. All right.
and he did.
Was that wait? Was the Joker
He did
in?
Nibbler too.
Was the
Oh,
Joker?
wow,
was the
that's
Joker
cool.
in the Batman
Yes,
Scooby Doo
he
episode?
was
Yeah,
in
he
it,
was.
yeah.
So was
probably
Penguin. And,
okay.
Kevin Michael Richardson.
I just thought he deserved a reaction too. I don't know who he is.
Jeff Bennett, Brent Spiner,
Ooh,
Data.
He's creepy.
yeah.
John DiMaggio,
Yeah, the great
Yes.
DiMaggio
Michael Emerson, and
of Lake and Palmer. That'd be cool.
was
Maybe.
I don't know the difference. All right, go ahead.
and Michael Emerson was Benjamin Linus on Lost.
Oh, him.
Yeah.
Another creepy guy.
That was for The Dark Knight Returns. It was
The animated version.
the
of that.
animated version of The Dark Knight Returns.
Interesting.
Okay.
Zach Galifianakis,
What?
In
Oh,
Lego.
Right,
Lego
of course,
Batman.
Lego. He's
Lego
so
Batman.
good, actually.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
He's really good, actually.
and
not
saving
catch
the
that.
best for last, Mark Hamill.
Mark,
The great Mark Hamill
motherfucking Hamill.
kills it.
That last.
Just the Batman animated series, because we're not going to end up talking about that anytime soon. It must, if we do
Never say
animate,
never.
if we do animated at some point, we'll get to it. But Batman the animated series was really good.
It was a really good TV show, yeah.
Yes, it was.
Thank you, Al.
I watched so much of the Batman the animated series that the theme music was just ingrained
Yeah.
in my brain for then on out, which was the same theme music from the movie that we just watched.
Yeah, Danny Elfman's music,
Yeah.
which
Heard that theme music at least 5 times a week.
Yeah.
mhm.
And their Gotham looks like his Gotham.
Yeah, it
Same
did.
Art Deco.
Exactly. Yeah. So that brings us to I'm sorry. Are we?
Oh yeah, no, I'm done.
Okay, that brings us to production. Josh, you had a few tidbits you wanted to share about?
I think they're production related, so I'll throw them in. I will just start by saying I was typing in, Batman 89 tidbits here, and they come up with the top questions that have been Googled. And like the fourth one is, why is Danny DeVito so short? Enough human beings in this country Googled that.
Did you get an answer?
No, I didn't click. It's for some of us not to know.
Yes.
I assumed
We'll get
it's
to that
genetics. I assumed it's genetics.
And
I assumed
Batman Returns.
There could have been a
I assumed
curse.
it was an accident in a chemical factory.
Right, exactly. Yes.
Did they make him shorter for Batman Returns?
They might have.
They like pressed him.
Well, whatever Bruno took in Swamp Thing.
Classic filming tricks, just
right.
Angles.
I'm sorry to detract it. Yep, that's all.
Those are the production notes.
Okay.
That's it.
No, I do have some as they come up organically.
Okay, so
I don't need the floor, even though I just took it for that.
in the 1970s, a man named Michael Keaton was a big comics fan, huge collector, and he wanted to. His dream growing up was to bring Batman to the big screen. He was tried to make contacts in Hollywood. Ended up working as a professor. excuse me, at a university.
Yeah,
at a school. I was trying to find which one.
I was hoping you'd say something
I believe
crazy.
it's in Ohio. Yeah.
All right, a university.
Yeah, at a university where he taught the very first course on comics. He had to convince the head of the department that comics were a legitimate social form of literature. Yeah. So he ended up taking his idea to a producer named Benjamin Melniker, and the two of them together procured the film rights in perpetuity to Batman.
That's crazy.
If you watch on Joker, they had producer credit.
Wow.
They have executive producer credits on every single big screen Batman movie ever made. They made hundreds of millions of dollars off Batman, and they did literally nothing on any film.
Wow. Right.
But he did do a lot to bring Batman. Probably wouldn't have existed in 1989 on film if it weren't for him. He was unsuccessful pitching Batman to various movie studios because they wanted it to be a campy 60s throwback.
Right.
So then he wrote a script titled Return of the Batman to give the film industry a better idea of his dark vision. He later compared the dark tone to that of The Dark Knight Returns. In 1979, producers John Peter and Peter Guber joined the project. Melniker and Uslan became executive producers, and the four felt it was best to pattern the film's development after that of Superman, which had just come out the year before. So no movie studios were yet involved. The project was publicly announced as having a budget of $15 million at the 1980 Comic-Con in New York.
Wow.
Yeah, they were just trying to drum up some publicity about it.
Talk about counting your chickens.
Yeah, a solid 9 years before they hatched. We were turned down by Columbia, United Artists, Universal, Warner Studios. The studio behind Superman decided to accept and produce Batman. At that point, Tom Mankiewicz wrote a script entitled The Batman in June 1983. It focused on Batman and Dick Grayson's origins with the Joker and Rupert Thorne as villains.
And Mankiewicz had something to do with the Spider-Man scripts, right?
I believe
or
so.
Or he was a producer.
Something, I don't know.
Yeah, he was involved.
So, Silver St. Cloud was in it as a romantic interest.
Silver St. Cloud?
Yes, Silver St. Cloud.
That's a person?
Apparently, it is a person in the DC universe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, not a real person.
Yeah, I was like, who's this bombshell I never heard of?
Yeah.
Okay, DC, of course.
Mankiewicz apparently took inspiration from the limited Batman series Strange Apparitions, which was written by Steve Englehart. The Batman was announced in late 1983 for a mid-1985 release and a budget of $20 million. Richard Maibaum was approached to write a script with Guy Hamilton to direct. Guy Hamilton and Richard Maibaum both are best known for writing and directing most of the James Bond movies throughout the mid-60s to mid-70s.
Oh, wow. Those are good.
Yeah.
Wow.
So throughout the 80s, a number of filmmakers and actors were attached to the project. William Holden was considered for James Gordon. David Niven was for Alfred Pennyworth. And Peter O'Toole was considered for the Penguin.
David Niven as Alfred would have worked.
Yeah,
that would have been cool.
At one point, Ivan Reitman and Joe Dante were attached. Reitman wanted to cast Bill Murray as Batman and Eddie Murphy as Robin.
Huh.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would have been it.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah, why didn't we get those two guys in a movie anyway?
But Bill Murray doing Adam West is
Yeah.
I could see that.
Oh,
Exactly.
yeah, for sure.
Hey,
Exactly.
Robin, let's go climb this building.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Yeah.
It would be all
Yeah,
his
they're
own.
like, "Whew, we're halfway up this building and I'm feeling a little tired here."
Yeah, exactly.
Let's have some delicious ice cold Coca-Cola. Yeah, I can see it now.
Yeah. Let's see. There were 9 rewrites by 9 different writers at this point. Most of them were based on strange apparitions. However, it was still Mankiewicz's original script that was being used to guide the project. Then Pee-wee's Big Adventure came out, and Warner Brothers hired Tim Burton to direct Batman. This is pre-Beetlejuice.
Oh, pre-Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
I mean, Pee-wee was fantastic, but
yeah.
I mean, we learned that it had Tim Burton's stylistic touch all over it.
Yeah,
but we didn't know
that.
that.
Yeah, at the
it
time.
seemed Pee-wee.
It was Pee-wee.
Yeah,
It just made
exactly.
sense.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah, so Burton had his girlfriend, Julie Hickson, who did nothing else. I checked her IMDb. She wrote
Except
a 30...
get mad at Helena Bonham Carter.
Exactly. He had her write a 30-page film treatment, feeling that the previous script by Mankiewicz was too campy. Burton then approached Sam Hamm, who was a huge comic book fan, to write the screenplay.
Sam Hamm, the comic book fan?
Yeah. the comic book fan. He's a man named Sam.
I'll be damned.
Hamm went on to write Monkey Bone and a bunch of comics. That's most of his career.
Monkey Bone. So now we know who's responsible.
So at the time after Burton, they waited until after Beetlejuice was a big hit to go ahead and give the green light to the movie, even though Tim Burton was attached to it pre-Beetlejuice. They wanted him to make Beetlejuice first and prove that he could have a hit. Another that wasn't Pee Wee Herman related.
Right. Wow, he showed them.
Yeah, he did.
Fuck, yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, don't challenge me.
Yeah, exactly. So considered at the time for Batman, we had Mel Gibson, Kevin Costner, Charlie Sheen, Tom Selleck, Harrison Ford, Dennis Quaid.
Pierce Brosnan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Pierce Brosnan. Burton was pressured by Warner Brothers to cast an obvious action movie star. That's when he approached Pierce Brosnan, but Brosnan had no interest. Burton was interested in casting an unknown actor. He offered the role to Ray Liotta, who turned it down.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wait, as Bruce Wayne?
Yeah.
Because he would creep me the fuck out as the Joker.
Well, and,
they talked about
Ray
Willem
Liotta
Dafoe for the Joker,
well,
Yes, he was on the list,
He
yeah.
offered, he offered it to William Dafoe,
which is interesting.
Yeah.
Did you also read about Robin Williams,
Yes.
where he kind of got jacked around by the
They totally just straight up used him
Yeah,
as
they-
Yeah, you were telling me
like
that.
a
a
lure?
bargaining chip.
Yeah.
Yeah, they announced that Robin Williams was attached to the role to get Nicholson to confirm.
Yeah,
Right.
He didn't work with
No,
Warner
nobody
Brothers
even
for
called
years, I
Robin
guess.
Williams, and yeah, he got like not just mad but upset. Yeah.
So so before I get into the casting of this, I'm going to talk a little bit about
What?
well, there's Danny Elfman. So
There is.
Danny Elfman's score is almost as iconic as John Williams' Superman score.
I think so.
Yeah.
He had a really interesting career. So his brother was Richard Elfman, was head of a street theater performance group known as the Mystic Knights of the Oingo Boingo.
Right. Okay.
Danny Elfman was brought in, and they did street performances throughout L.A. At one point, his brother left. This is in the early 80s. His brother left. Danny took over, hired all the mimes and all like the crazy instrument players, and became a new wave band known as Oingo Boingo.
Right. They're great.
Yeah, they started...
It's funny that it was like a corporate takeover.
Yeah, right.
It's just a street troupe, but like he had to become the leader. And then he had to slowly phase out the mimes. They couldn't
we're
just tell
playing
the
rock and
mimes to
roll.
beat it. Yeah.
And if it's funny because if you listen to like some of their street theater stuff, which there are recordings of on the internet, a lot of it has that very, it's come to be known as doom pa sound that Elfman has, a boom, 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 boom,
Oh,
bum,
right.
bum, 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 bum.
Yeah, sort of a
doom
yeah,
pa.
Right, right. March of the Gladiators sounding.
Yeah, exactly, but like darker and gothier.
Sure.
He was a.
Well, I guess if anyone scored our child I mean, John Williams and Danny Elfman, right?
Yeah, those are the two guys
Those
for
are
me.
the background like instrumental music. Since I was a kid.
So he did 1985's Dead Man's Party, featuring the hit song "Weird Science" from the movie Weird Science. And then in 1985, Paul Rubens was just a fan of Oingo Boingo.
Yeah,
and he went with he showed his he brought the music to Tim Burton. Tim Burton said, "Yeah, let's have this guy score your movie."
Wow.
And originally, Danny Elfman was like, "I don't know how to do that."
Right.
But they convinced him, and the rest is history.
Yeah. Here's a trippy time thing. The Simpsons debuted the same year as this movie.
Yeah.
Do you remember those things being concurrent, at the time? I don't, you know what I mean? Those seem like different milestones, pop culture wise.
They really do.
Same year.
But I mean, when you go back and watch the
show.
first season of The Simpsons, it's like, oh yeah, this is 80s.
Yeah.
Of course, Danny Elfman went on to score like every movie ever made, including other superhero films. Spider-Man, he did most recently the Justice League movie, in which he reused his original Batman theme.
Right.
Let's see. He did all 4 Men in Black films, 50 Shades of Grey, Raimi's Spider-Man movies, Simple Plan, Kingdom, Summersby, A Civil Action, Hitchcock, Silver Linings Playbook, Don't Worry, He Won't Get Far on Foot. I don't know how that got in there. Flubber.
Those were just directions.
Right. Frankenweenie.
How to kidnap Danny Elfman.
Red Dragon, The Frighteners, Mars Attacks, Dark Shadows, Hulk, Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, and Age of Ultron.
Wow. Yeah.
I saw in your notes also Dick Tracy, Dark Man by Sam Raimi,
which is coming up.
Wow.
And Clive Barker's Nightbreed.
The Elfman.
And of course, Beetlejuice.
Yeah, of course.
And
Edward Scissorhands and everything that Tim Burton has done.
So that
even Dumbo. Recently.
Yes, just everything Burton does.
Yeah.
So that brings us to Toy Biz.
It's a harsh biz.
It is.
Cruel mistress. The merchandising was bonkers. It was the first time we saw this kind of thing.
You mean Happy Meals?
Yeah. So Toy Biz was the company.
Right. Star Wars had theirs. You're absolutely right. But like Batman, it spilled over. There was so much bootleg Batman.
It was the first Batman thing. I had multiple Batman posters. I had the Batman shirt.
I had a shirt with Jack Nicholson on it. How bonkers that is. Like, well, my Chinatown t-shirt had been wearing out.
Oh, man.
I needed a new one.
Yeah,
my terms of endearment hat.
My room had Jack Nicholson and Kim Basinger on the wall.
Were they both in bikinis?
Yes.
I had a Batman Trapper in my Trapper Keeper.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a nice sleek folder. All black with the,
I came back. So the summer, I still remember coming back the summer because it came out during the summer.
Right.
And then I went to 8th
June
grade
23rd.
between my 7th and 8th grade years. I went to 8th grade, and the first day of school, roughly 65% of the students were wearing Batman shirts of one sort or another.
There was marketing that had like tons of people in Batman t-shirts. I remember there being commercials
Everywhere.
about that.
Yeah.
Not about it, but with that as like part of it. It was like identifying, it was like Apple marketing, pre-Apple almost.
right.
Yeah, this was the first movie I remember seeing a trailer of that showed a helicopter shot of a line lined up around the block waiting to get into the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Or people dressed up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
hype
they were
was
talking to people in
real.
line.
I was Batman for Halloween when I was a little kid.
Oh,
a couple
shit,
of
yeah.
times. Yeah.
My buddy Aaron was Joker, probably the year after this or a couple of years. His mother made a perfect like satin Joker. Yeah, man. There was Batmania.
Yeah. There was. And Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson both signed up with a percentage of toy sales with the company Toy Biz that produced the action figures and the straight toys.
The Batman with the freaking retractable belt.
Oh, yes.
All that
was
stuff.
great.
Man, all kinds
Which,
of cool toys.
which explains a lot about both Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson's, well, not so much Jack Nicholson. He just did what he wanted,
financial
whatever.
success.
But Michael Keaton kind of stopped working throughout the 90s.
He made
for a long
some
time.
For a little
He
while,
did,
yeah.
yeah.
less regular.
Because he didn't need to. He had that Toy Biz money because Toy Biz in the early 90s purchased, made a deal with Marvel because they did so well with the Batman toys that they made a deal with Marvel Entertainment to produce Marvel toys. And the Marvel toys did much better than the Marvel properties did on screen.
Yeah.
So then in the late 90s, Toy Biz, who the president of Toy Biz throughout the 90s was Avi Arad.
Whoa.
They purchased Marvel Entertainment. That is how
Completely.
we got the MCU.
Wow.
Because
That's
Toy
insane.
Biz was contracted to make the Batman toys in 1989.
That's crazy. I always wondered where Avi Arad came from because he carried the torch for a long time. We were all like thankful to him without knowing who he was. Like,
He was the president of a toy company in the 80s.
That's wild.
That got contracted to make Batman toys.
And he's kind of painted as like a money guy. So and that makes sense coming from the toy industry.
Right.
He's like like Lucas. Lucas
Just
is always
like
kind of
Lucas.
viewed as like being like the money, like he wants the money for making toys. And you can say that on one side, but at the same time, like, oh man, how much joy did I get out of a Batman toy as a 5-year-old kid? Holy crap!
Yeah.
well, and with the Star Wars, that was new territory. So they figured that out after the fact.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
of course, they ran with it, as we know.
Yeah.
Lucas totally
They
ran with
perfected it with
but
this
yeah,
movie.
with this one, they got to go into the boardrooms knowing how much toys
Exactly.
made a franchise.
The guy has a cart. and a
Exactly.
plane.
Which
that was a cool Batmobile.
which
Yeah.
is it's crazy to
the
me
coolest
that
Batmobile.
Nicholson and
I
Keaton
think-
both got a cut of the toys.
Yeah, that's wild. That's
yeah.
Brando maneuvering.
Seriously.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and Nicholson got a cut of the film too, right?
Yeah, Nicholson
so-
made a lot of money.
I think Nicholson gets a cut of everything
Well,
that
and he-
happens everywhere.
And he talked about this being one of his favorite roles that he'd ever played.
Right.
And
Yeah.
he got first billing,
Oh,
except for
glad.
the credits and
This-
stuff
if
too.
you watching this movie, this is a man just in like having the time of his life.
I mean, yeah, he's just going.
Yeah,
nuts.
he loves it. Thank goodness.
yeah.
So Prince wrote. Prince made an album. It was Batman related. No, he was contracted by. So he was a
Bat dance related.
yes.
Yeah,
yes.
whose idea was Prince? Like,
Well,
okay.
so Prince. This is what happened. Prince was a Warner Brothers in the Warner Brothers record label.
family,
Yeah.
Label, yeah.
So they basically said, "Hey, Prince, go do this." Originally, it was supposed to be a collaboration between himself and Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Far out.
The album was supposed to be a duet, Michael Jackson and Prince. Michael Jackson was going to do all the Batman songs. Prince was going to do all the Joker songs.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't think it would have been as good of a movie had it had this weird musical.
That might have
Duet
overpowered
thing.
it. If it was done really
Yeah.
well, it could have been distracting, but what a cool idea.
Yeah.
It's a very cool idea.
Of course, Michael Jackson dropped out, so it was just Prince, which most of the songs on the album have really nothing to do with Batman. They were just Prince songs he had laying around that he put on the album. There's just a few that are actually about Batman.
Would have been interesting to hear him write songs about the Joker. You know,
The smoker.
if they had been more direct, like, dude, write songs about he's the bad guy,
Right.
Like you're making the bad guy's music.
He was a great lyricist. Yeah,
Yeah.
it would have been cool.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the cast. And let's start at the top with Jack Nicholson as Jack Napier / the Joker. Maybe some of our younger viewers aren't real clear on who Jack Nicholson is prior to Batman. He had his big breakout with Easy Rider. Then, of course, went on to do 5 Easy Pieces, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Terms of Endearment. Later on, he was in As Good as It Gets, About Schmidt, and The Bucket List.
I'm meaning to see that.
I mean,
Get it?
yeah.
I have seen
Oh,
it.
Jesus. Damn it,
It
Josh.
was a bucket list joke.
God damn it.
Yeah, he wrote a lot of movies early in his career,
He did.
actually.
He was in the 1960s, the Little Shop of Horrors. Thank you, Al.
His character in that was named Wilbur Force.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And
Did you guys? Okay.
He was just a masochist who goes to the dentist and like gets all his
Yeah, he likes
teeth
it.
drilled without any anesthetic.
A
That's
piece of
right.
trivia I found was that the same instruments on the table in Little Shop of Horrors, the newer one, not Nicholson's one, are the same ones that creepy plastic surgeon had worked on the Joker.
Oh,
like
that's
one of
cool.
them's made up. It's not it's not an instrument.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, sorry.
So he was also, of course, his two most famous roles outside of Batman would be in Chinatown and The Shining.
Few Good Men too, though. Few Good Men would be the other.
A Few Good Men, absolutely. A Few Good Men.
That's true.
That gets super quoted.
You can't handle the truth.
Yeah.
And Departed. Departed is like
weirdly, Departed.
He's
Yeah.
just phenomenal in that and so weird.
But
and
I can't think of someone else except maybe like Bogart or like that has so many catchphrases from so many different movies. Wait till they get a load of me. You can't handle the truth. Here's Johnny.
What if this is as good as it gets?
Exactly. Yeah. He said the name of the movie. He wins.
Right. Well, it's a great concept. All right.
He was also the president in Mars Attacks.
Oh,
yes,
he was really good in that. He's a few characters in that.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, anger management. Something's got to give.
All right, we get the idea.
Yeah, he was.
Jack Nicholson, man.
He wrote, directed, and starred in The Two Jakes, the sequel to Chinatown.
Yep.
And he hit on a woman 60 years his junior that one year when what's her face won that Oscar for.
I don't remember that year. Sorry.
Yeah. The one with the lady.
The one that he hit on?
Yeah.
No, you
Has
guys
he ever had an age-appropriate relationship?
No, I don't think he has. But
does he date people
what's her
his
face? From the Hunger Games. What's her face? Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer
When she won the
Lawrence.
Oscar, did you see that clip?
No.
She's giving an interview like after she won the Oscar, like backstage, and Nicholson comes up and taps her on the shoulder behind her. He's like, "Congratulations, you really deserved it. We should get some lunch." And she's like, "Sure." And turns back and she's like, "Oh my God, was he hitting on me?"
Wow.
That's hilarious. No, he's just inviting her to lunch, it sounds like. But
Yeah,
it's
at
Jack
his age-
Nicholson. He's probably
No, if
hitting
you looked
on
at
her.
Jack, if you saw his face, he was totally hitting on her.
Jack
has
Nicholson
the same
stories. One of
face
my
all the
favorite
time.
weird Jack Nicholson stories is Jim Brewer. You guys know the stand-up comedian
Yes.
Jim Brewer.
Yeah.
He was going to a role. He was trying to get a role for this movie, and he thought he didn't get it. He's riding down the elevator, and Jack Nicholson gets in, and he does like a crazy Jack Nicholson impression. He kind of looks like Jack Nicholson to some extent, and he's like freaking out. He's freaking fucking out. He's like, dude, I have to say something to him. And Jack Nicholson gets off like the next floor or two before he gets a chance to say something, turns around, looks at Jim Brewer and goes, "You know, you look how I feel," and walks away. And Jim Brewer looks high as fuck all the time.
Yeah, and
That's like his
he used
thing.
to
He's
do
in
an
Half-Baked,
impression,
yeah.
right? Of Jack Nicholson. Well, I don't. Do we have Nicholson stories then?
Oh God,
I
that's
was-
just like I love that shit about Jack Nicholson because he's so weird. When he
Yeah.
engages
Well, I
with
was
other
one night. I
celebrities.
had the same plans as Jack, and I was in the same room.
Oh yeah. Tell us
him.
your Nicholson story.
We were in L.A. My friend Josh and I for this residency of Dylan shows at the El Rey Theater on Wilshire. He was there for 5 days. But on the last night, he had a surprise opening guest, and that was Willie Nelson. And the whole crowd was star-studded. This theater is kind of like the Rialto, but smaller, actually. And so not very far from me to my left, I see Jack Nicholson up against the wall. He's got his sunglasses on, doing his Jack thing. He's not talking, but he's smiling. I think he's holding a drink. And there's a guy in a baseball cap that's like yelling at him. Not yelling at him because we're at a concert. They were near the speakers, but he was so close to Jack Nicholson that he was probably spitting on him. I point to Josh. I'm like, who the hell could get that close to Jack Nicholson and get that in his face? And the dude in the cap turned, and it was Dennis Hopper. So we're like, yeah, I guess him. I guess he'd be the one. Yeah. So anyway,
That's great.
So moving on, we got Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne Batman. Keaton first appeared on TV in the Pittsburgh public television programs Where the Heart Is and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. He played one of the Flying Zucchini Brothers on Mr. Rogers.
I do remember seeing
and
that.
served as a full-time production assistant on the show. He moved to L.A. and he popped up in various popular TV shows, including Maude and Mary Tyler Moore. Then his big break was working with Jim Belushi in the short-lived comedy series Working Stiffs. That same year, he got a role in Night Shift, directed by Ron Howard.
it's a cool movie.
Yeah, it's good. That led to Mr. Mom, which was his big breakout hit.
Joseph Sant is in that movie. Bernadette Burkett.
No, nice.
Yeah.
He let's see, he was in Johnny Dangerously, Gung Ho, The Squeeze, The Dream Team. He played a hockey player in Touch and Go, which was his first dramatic role. Woody Allen cast him as the lead in Purple Rose of Cairo, but felt that he was too modern and reshot this film with Jeff Daniels.
Jeff Daniels, yeah.
Yeah.
Who's old-timey. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. Then he played Beetlejuice. And in between Beetlejuice and Batman, he was in Clean and Sober, which was like his big dramatic, like,
Right.
I'm going to act.
His tour de force.
Yeah. And then Batman, and the rest is history. We have Kim Basinger. As,
hang on.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Michael Keaton was born Michael John Douglas.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And his first few credits were as
Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas. It was sometime in the 70s, the late 70s, around 79, that he decided to use an alternate surname to avoid confusion with the more famous Michael Douglas.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him tell the story that he had to change it to register in,
Yeah.
In the
For
Guild.
the
in
Screen
Guild.
Actors Guild. Yeah.
He couldn't have the same name as another actor in there.
Yeah. That's actually pretty common. A lot of times they don't change their names because they think it's better for their career, but they simply can't.
Yeah.
Okay. After reading an article about Diane Keaton, he decided he liked the sound of Michael Keaton.
He had his boyhood dream of being Diane Keaton's husband.
No, but he's like, I can't be Michael Douglas because right now in the 80s, Michael Douglas himself is too popular.
Yeah.
He was like
I'll
talking
rip
about
off
this
Diane Keaton.
on Colbert, and he says he goes
There's no
to catch
confusion.
like a flight, and there's a guy holding a sign for Michael Douglas, and then Michael Keaton walks up, and they're like, "Dude, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Other famous guy? I'm here
not
for Michael
you.
Douglas," and he's like, "No, I am Michael Douglas." I love that.
He's always in that movie, The Game.
And just to have somebody
Like at
open
all
with their
times.
like nom de guerre or whatever like moniker that they use is kind of cool, you know.
Yeah.
We'll peer behind the curtain. Thanks, Michael Keaton.
I heard that Alec Baldwin was up for this. Speaking of Kim Basinger, you're gonna.
I didn't find that, but that would make total sense.
And I feel like I read about it, like, because then he went to do The Shadow, like right
Yeah.
around this
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
instead.
Well, I mean, he played Jack Ryan, same as Harrison Ford, and Harrison Ford was considered for this.
So-
it sounds
Yeah,
like.
but he was married to Kim Basinger at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they
Yeah.
both were approached, and he backed out. She did not.
I feel like Hollywood got really the wrong idea about why Batman was successful, because right afterwards they tried to make a ton of like Art Deco noir like comic strip stories rather than superhero movies.
Yeah.
Which was really the way that they should have gone.
We'll get to those.
Oh, we will. We'll be getting to them. So yeah, Kim Basinger, following a successful modeling career during the 70s, she moved to LA. She began acting on television, including a remake of From Here to Eternity. She was considered a sex symbol of the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Again, after Batman, I had her on my wall. She came to Al.
She was in Never Say Never Again.
Yes, that's what I was about to say.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Didn't see it on your
Yeah.
notes. I'm sorry.
She came
Which
to prominence as Bond girl Domino Patachi.
Yes.
Which who was playing Bond at that time?
Oh, that would have been Never Say Never Again. That was
Sean
Connery.
Connery.
Connery's comeback.
Okay, right, yeah, sweet.
Yeah, she.
Yeah, that's right.
God, that was 83.
Yeah. Connery was Bond as late as 83. Crazy. She was got a Golden Globe nomination for a role in The Natural, and then she did 9.5 Weeks, which was like the 50 Shades of Grey of the 80s.
Yes, it was much talked about on our middle school playground.
Oh, yes. Then after Batman, she was in LA Confidential, for which she won an Oscar.
Yeah, she was great in that.
And yeah, those were really the highlights. She didn't do a whole lot after LA Confidential.
I remember My Stepmother is an Alien
Oh, yes.
in 1988.
Yeah.
Um,
Aykroyd, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
She was in Cool World in 1982.
An animated version.
An animated.
First movie I ever walked out of.
Oh, interestingly enough, first movie I ever walked out of, Batman and Robin.
Far out.
Oh man, were your nipples sore?
No, they weren't, because they were part of my shirt.
Oh, that's good. They weren't actual nipples.
She was in Wayne's World 2.
Oh, yeah, she was.
She was Mary Jane / corpse in Tom Petty's Mary Jane's Last
Oh,
Dance.
that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Mary Jane
She
corpse.
grew up.
She's
in
credited as a
Indiana town.
corpse.
She played the corpse.
Yeah.
Interesting.
She was on The Simpsons in 1998 as
Oh, yeah.
herself.
Yep, that's a great episode.
And I
He's
just
all vodka and wheatgrass. I call it a lawnmower.
that was also Alec Baldwin and
Ron Howard.
Ron Howard. That's right. Then I found out that Michael Keaton was also on The Simpsons at some point in 2001.
Yeah.
He
Can I
played-
guess that one too?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he was a convict, right? He
Yes.
was really
Oh,
good at
that's right. I
painting.
remember that
He was really
one.
good at painting, and
Yeah.
Marge sort of fell for him.
Marge teaches art in prison.
Yeah, that's right.
Jack Crowley.
If this was a pub quiz.
was the name.
And he would he'd be painting and he'd be very sensitive, and then he'd try to stab people.
Right.
Yeah.
And he did the mural on the school, and it was like a Vietnam flashback. Oh my God. It's just terrible.
So he torched it, and then Marge tries to help him escape, and he immediately torches the principal's car.
Yeah, that's right.
It's very Michael
Holy
Keaton.
shit.
Okay, so
What are we talking about?
yeah, then we have Robert Wool as Alexander Knox. He made his start on the dating game in the $10,000 pyramid.
No, that's your start. No, you
Yeah,
can't. That's
right.
not a
Does
start.
that count?
Yeah, exactly.
Who was our other guy that started on the dating game?
That was John Ritter.
That's right. That's right.
Wool's first role in movies was starring in the 1980 comedy The Hollywood Knights, along with Tony Danza, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Fran Drescher.
Yeah, Hollywood Nights.
He was in Flashdance, Good Morning Vietnam,
Yes.
Bull Durham,
Yes.
Yep.
then Blaze, Missing Pieces, Mistress, Blue Chips,
Oh,
Cobb.
Blue Chips is a good one.
Yeah, Blue Chips is good. And then from 1996 to 2002, he wrote and starred in the HBO series
Arliss.
Arliss Money. Because the
He was a strange
signs.
phenomenon. He made a special. It was on HBO, but it was called "Lies My Teacher Told Me," which was actually based on a book. But he's in a high school class and he debunks a bunch of Paul Revere and all these stories were told in history class. Yeah, Robert Wool.
We have Pat Hingle as Commissioner Gordon. His first film role was an uncredited part as bartender Jock in On the Waterfront.
Interesting.
Yeah, he played Warren Beatty's father in Splendor in the Grass, directed by Elia Kazan. Let's see, he was Sally Field's father in Norma Ray. He played Colonel Tom in John Carpenter's TV movie Elvis from 1979.
John Carpenter.
John Carpenter directed a TV movie about Elvis Presley, and Pat Hingle played Colonel Tom Parker.
Wowzers.
I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah. Let's see. He was in a ton of TV shows: The Fugitive, Mission Impossible, Hang 'Em High, The Gauntlet, Road to Redemption. When You Coming Back, Red Ryder? He was in Brewster's Millions, Maximum Overdrive. Yeah. The Grifters. Let's see. He showed up in Cheers at one point, apparently. Wings.
And in Wings.
He was in the 2000 movie Shaft. He was in all 4 of the Burton verse Batman movies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Only him and Alfred.
Yep.
Who was played by Michael Gough, who was known for his roles in the Hammer horror films. His first role as Sir Arthur Holmwood in Dracula. He was in Horrors of the Black Museum, Conga, The Phantom of the Opera, Black Zoo, Trog, The Corpse.
I remember Trog.
He was also in Top Secret
I love Top Secret.
with Val Kilmer, who would later be Batman.
I know a little German. He's over there.
We have Billy D. Williams as Harvey Dent. Billy D. made his debut in 1959 in The Last Angry Man, opposite Paul Mooney. 1976 Broadway production, I Have a Dream, was directed by Robert Greenwald and starred Billy D. Williams as Martin Luther King Jr.
Paul Mooney.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. He's best known, of course,
I'm
as
gonna look that up.
Lando Calrissian in the Star Wars film Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, we
and
don't
Return of
hold
the
it
Jedi.
against him.
Right.
And he's gonna be in freaking.
Oh, he's gonna be
in pictures.
Yeah,
He's gonna be in another picture.
yeah. He's gonna be in The Rise of
Rise of
Skywalker.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
He's,
That's
he's
cool.
flying
back.
the Falcon again.
Or if he
Lando's
still-
back.
If he
Back
still drinks
again.
Colt 45 or
Chewie
not.
gets lonely.
Lando's
Oh, yeah,
back.
dog.
Tell a friend.
Yeah, he still gets that. He still gets Colt 45 for
Lando's
free.
back.
For a long time, you could see his
Back
face
again.
on 40-ounce bottles of Colt 45.
The Colt 45 commercials, yeah.
Which as a child was the reason I bought
Well,
them.
yeah. Well,
But
yeah.
he was in Lady Sings the Blues.
and
he was
and,
really good
yeah,
in that.
and Mahogany
Yes, Mahogany.
and Nighthawks.
He played Scott Joplin.
Yes.
Yeah.
We got Jack Palance as Carl.
I'm sorry, I've got
that's
some
right.
fun stuff about Billy D. Williams. He wrote one episode of The Jeffersons in 1984.
Really?
Whoa.
Who did?
Billy D. Williams.
Well, just
That's
one.
awesome.
You just had one thing to say.
He's like, I just have this idea for this one episode, guys.
Now it's out of me.
In 1990, after making Batman, the title of the movie is Secret Agent 00 Soul.
Ooh, sounds good.
He played James Brown III, also known as Secret Agent 00 Soul, as a suave secret agent hired to catch an elusive criminal mastermind.
That's what that Billy Preston song is about. There's a Billy Preston song called Double O Soul. And it's about
Oh, it was from that soundtrack.
character.
But you said
Holy crap.
1990?
1990, yes.
Wow, it seems so like blaxploitation 70s.
Yeah, that Double O Soul song is amazing, by the way.
It is a good song.
Look
I
it
have
up,
to check
yeah.
that out.
Anytime
That's
I
where
hear
I knew
Billy
it
D.
from,
Williams,
yeah.
I think of him, and that's so funny because they're connected now. That's really funny.
He voiced Lando Calrissian in a lot of things, which I'll list in the Patreon when we get to Empire
we get
Strikes
to-
Back.
right.
But he
Patreon. Join up. You can listen to us do Harmless Phosphorescence for Star Wars.
Agrippa List.
he has played himself in The Jeffersons in 1978, The Boondocks in 2010,
Oh, cool.
Lost 2007.
As himself?
Yeah. In Living Color in 1990.
Oh, because they had that whole they had that whole storyline about how they were when they
they're
went back in
on the
time
mainland
and
everything.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, and they landed in the
just
middle of the
forgot, is all.
filming of Batman. Yeah, it's weird.
no, The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, or Empire Strikes Back.
Batman Strikes Back.
Still playing himself in Key and Peele 2012. Michael Jackson's Liberian Girl in 1989 was a short video.
He was in that.
Yeah.
Liberian, I imagine.
No, he was himself.
No.
No, the
Sorry.
song.
Never mind.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Scrubs in 2006, Modern Family in 2013, and in Robot Chicken
Yeah.
a couple of times. I think.
Probably lots of land.
He did a lot of Billy D stuff.
And he voiced Two-Face in the Lego Batman movie 2017.
Yes. We also have Jack Palance as Carl Grissom, born Voldemir Paluniak.
Voldemir?
Voldemir.
He's the one who shall not be named.
Voldemir. His acting break came as Marlon Brando's understudy in A Streetcar Named Desire.
That's wild.
He eventually replaced Brando on stage. Then he made his screen debut in Panic in the Streets, directed by Elia Kazan. He was nominated for 3 Academy Awards, all for Best Actor in a Supporting Role, receiving nominations for his roles in Sudden Fear in 1952, Shane in 1953,
Shane.
and City Slickers in 1991.
Yeah, Palance was having a moment at this time. Do you remember him on the Academy Awards?
Yeah, where he did push-ups.
The push-ups,
Yeah.
one-armed push-ups.
Oh, Curly.
Yeah.
He played Jekyll and Hyde in a TV movie in the 70s, and he also played Dracula in a Dracula TV movie in 1974.
Weird.
And he was Fidel Castro in a movie called Che in 1969.
Really? In 69?
Yeah.
Wow. What a year to play Castro.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
So
He's Russian, it sounds like.
there's a couple other little tidbits. Of course, I think Eckhart was played by the same guy that played Porkins
Yeah, Porkins or Pookins.
in Star Wars. And at the beginning, the father who gets lost, that was the same actor that played Biggs Darklighter. Aw, Biggs is right. I'm never going to get out of here.
Yeah.
What is that? Who's he?
Star
From
Wars.
Star Wars.
Which?
He
Give me
was
some context.
he was the Biggs, the one that left Tatooine that Luke wanted to follow to the Academy.
Oh,
He
yeah,
was-
yeah,
He
yeah.
was in the deleted scenes
right, yes.
that show how bad
Yeah.
Star Wars was
He's-
before it got edited.
He's in the attack. He's in the attack on the
On our
Death Star.
senses.
He's one of the red guys.
Right.
No, he's the one they used
called
to shoot
gingers.
wampus.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we have 3 Star Wars guys in this.
Weird.
And this movie was reviewed by Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel
I would think so.
in At the Movies in 1989.
Director Tim Burton obviously wants to recall the original comic book look as well as tell a more adult kind of story. And that adult approach is what I found so refreshing about this Batman movie. We have so many films these days that are being made for the teenage audience, films that look like overblown TV shows. Here's a picture with adult stars, troubled characters, and a dark look. It's a shame that that approach has to be considered a risk these days, but I'm certainly glad the approach was taken. I enjoyed this Batman.
You said you enjoyed it more than any of the other entertainment pictures this summer. I certainly didn't think it was as much fun as the Indiana Jones film.
More for me.
And
I felt I've been through that one before.
As I looked at it, the thing that struck me most of all was the art direction. Gotham City in this movie is one of the original places in the movies. I thought it was very well done. It reminded me of places like Metropolis in the movie by Fritz Lang, or the futuristic Los Angeles in the movie Blade Runner by Ridley Scott. So I thought that the art direction was sensational. I thought the special effects were good. I thought those buildings looked like they went up 1.5 miles into the sky. I thought the dark film noir look of the film was very nice, but I didn't care about anything that happened in the movie. I never really found that these characters became people that I could get involved with. I felt that Nicholson, as the Joker, went on way too long. He was on too often. He was doing the same thing over and over. I found the relationship between Bruce Wayne and Vicky Vale didn't work at all, Kim Basinger and Michael Keaton. In fact, when she's in the Batcave and she sees for the first time that Bruce Wayne is in fact Batman, do you remember what her reaction was? She had no reaction.
I think
they left the reaction out of the film. They didn't even care that she was surprised.
No, she knew, and I think there are indications throughout the picture that these people know who they are in other lives, in other alter egos kind of situations.
Well, I don't.
It's very true between Batman and Jack Napier at the beginning of the film. When they give each other knowing looks, they're setting up a battle for the future.
Well, Gene, the thing, whether she knew who he was or not, is part of the suspension. In these movies, all of these movies, the superhero wears a mask that covers the top half of his face. It's like RoboCop. Well, anyone can see that it's Michael Keaton, but the whole deal in the movie is that you're not supposed to notice that until the person takes off the mask and you say, oh my God, it's Bruce Wayne. So she didn't know.
That isn't the whole business of the picture. I thought that the Bruce Wayne character was a fascinating guy. Rather than playing this as a strong man, I thought it was interesting to show this guy as sort of conflicted and nervous about it, and that's why he goes into this big pose.
Well, that's a modern touch that I wasn't surprised about. I'll tell you this much about the film. It's a very, not only a dark film, which you're right about, a film noir, but also there's a great deal of hostility and anger in this film. There's a great deal of bad feeling in it, and it's not a film for children. You call it an adult film. Another way to put it is it's not for kids. It's an extremely disturbing film.
Don't you find that? Well, wait a minute. Aren't you glad to be disturbed? And you know how I mean that.
I would have been glad to be disturbed by a film that made me care, that was able to not only use its special effects, but to encompass and surpass the special effects with a story. Because the one thing Spielberg knows in his special effects pictures is you've got to have strong characters and a strong story, or the special effects simply become something nice to look at.
Well, I felt that I had entered a complete world, a psychological world, and a visual world. I bought it. The ending runs on too long. That I agree with you in story construction. It's that problem of the third act that a lot of action pictures have.
Well, I admire, as you know, we can agree on one thing, we admire the look of the picture. Yeah. We just don't know that we agree on whether it works or not.
We don't agree.
We don't agree. Coming up next, the suburban scientist experiment goes wrong, and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Which I bet they loved.
I bet they both did, yeah.
I mean, I love that movie. It's a great movie.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
All right, so we ready to jump in here, guys?
Let's get nuts.
All right, here it is, 1989, Batman. We open with a moody credit sequence swooping around the Bat crest.
Really cool going sort of in it.
Yeah, in and around it like it's giant.
That was so exciting.
Yeah,
I bought so many toys already.
Yeah, no, I just want the toys now. Cut to Gotham City. It's night. A family is trying to find a taxi, but with no luck. They cut through an alley and are mugged by a pair of street thugs.
I know it was the first time out, but that was such a clever way of sort of giving you the Wayne vibe without it being the Waynes.
Yeah, totally. Yep. It was almost a misdirect.
Yeah, it certainly was.
The ruffians adjourn to the roof of a nearby building and count their take. They discuss the rumors of a giant bat terrorizing their underworld friends when they're accosted by a figure in black. They try to flee, shooting the figure point blank to no effect, but he kicks one of them through a door and the other captures with a grappling device. The bat figure holds the punk over the 5-story drop and instructs him to tell all his friends about him.
Tell all your friends. You know, like he's a dog groomer.
If you liked my work, let your friends know. The thief asks what he is, and the figure replies, "I'm Batman."
Iconic
just
moment.
like that.
Yeah, just like that.
Well, no, the iconic.
Yeah.
I'm Batman.
Even though those two dudes were talking about the bat dude that's beating up criminals.
Yes,
Well,
exactly.
I still want to ask just to be sure.
That line was supposed to, I guess it was improvised by Michael Keaton. Because he was supposed to say something else, which is so surprising because that scene is so iconic.
That is
He was
not
supposed to
great
say, like,
improvisation.
I
then.
am the knight.
Oh, wow.
And he's just like, why don't I just say I am Batman? And just said it. And they were like, oh.
Yeah, instantly iconic, going to be quoted forever going forward.
Yeah. What was the Neighbors movie where the two guys are arguing about Batman?
Yeah.
And that's what he just starts saying back to him.
I'm Batman. I'm Batman. I'm Batman.
Like,
Well, and I really liked Keaton's Batman voice in this. I think it might be the best Batman voice. Like,
Yeah, probably.
Because Bale's was like, I'm Batman.
yeah, like a voice change.
Like he was Zool from like...
It was like
He was being melted in acid the whole time.
it sounded like he was trying to talk through fake teeth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which was right.
He has extra rows of teeth.
Well, he
He's
revealed
Christian
that he
Bale.
wore a dental insert, like a retainer type thing, to change the structure of his face. That was the first time we saw Batman. Yeah. He had a mouth guard.
Yeah.
Weird.
So that's why he talks. Like he sounds like that.
Hey everyone, Thoreau from Harmless Phosphorescence here with a message for you. Yes, you listening to me talk. Did you know that the Harmless Entertainment Network has a Patreon? That's right, you can join in and get extra fun like a Star Wars Harmless Phosphorescence miniseries, a patron-only Q&A roundtable episode. We have great bonus episodes of audio dramas like Attention Hellmart Shoppers in 1994. But not only that, if we reach our next patron goal, we'll do a monthly bonus Harmless Phosphorescence about a patron-chosen non-superhero movie. Plus, there are great new shows on the way, and if you're a patron, you'll get to hear them first. Head over to patreon.com/harmless entertainment today, and for the price of a cup of coffee, you too can join our super awesome superhero club. Now, back to the show. Batman drops the villain off onto the roof and jumps off the building, disappearing into the night. In a speech to a crowd of Gotham's upper crust, Mayor Borg... He was Mayor Borg.
Who's Ed Koch? I mean,
Yeah,
you guys
he is
remember who
just
Ed
Ed
Koch
Koch,
was
yeah,
from the
totally.
New York? He was America's mayor before Giuliani was. But yeah. How am I doing, Ed Koch? And then I'm sorry, Harry Dent says, "I'm a man of few words." It's like, really, the DA, the district attorney,
Right.
is sort of a quiet, introspective guy.
Not a big talker. He promises to stop crime boss Carl Grissom. He introduces new DA Harvey Dent, and Dent promises to take down the criminals of Gotham. Meanwhile, watching on TV, mobster Jack Napier plays with his deck of cards.
Oh, and I'm sorry. It's important to mention that they're also talking about this bicentennial festival they're going to have.
party.
The bicentennial
And how
party
that's
coming
going to
up.
go on no matter what. So that's
What do
very-
you mean we don't have balloons?
Right.
Yeah. No matter
Okay,
what,
yeah, it'll
they're
come
gonna
up
party.
again.
Yes,
Yeah.
repeatedly. He's joined by a blonde woman, Alicia, who worries about Dent.
Jerry Hall.
Yeah, Jerry Hall, most well known as Mick Jagger's girlfriend.
They were married, actually.
Were they? Got
I
married?
think so.
Yeah, good for those kids.
Jack says decent people shouldn't live here. They'd be happier someplace else.
Yeah,
He's
great line.
not wrong.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Jack tells her Dent can't hurt Grissom. She says Grissom would hurt Jack if he knew about their affair. Jack is nonplussed. I didn't ask.
I didn't ask.
Every line that man has in this movie.
He was looking in the mirror and she said, "You look fine." And that's when he says,
Yeah.
"I didn't ask."
And that look he gives
Yeah.
her and then
Right.
turns...
Which I love because, like, obviously Napier's a badass, but he still kind of has jokes. But he's not already the Joker.
No,
do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
he's not the
sometimes
Joker
that
yet.
happens in superhero movies. Like, oh, that guy is already playing Batman.
He's
Or, you know,
already crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
But no, Nicholson, they were two different guys.
Yeah. Oh, totally. In an alley, medics are hauling away the muggers that were beaten up by Batman. Detective Eckhart is overseeing the operation and is skeptical of the existence of the Batman. He's approached by a reporter, Alexander Knox, who wants a statement. Eckhart tells Knox there is no Batman and walks away from him down the alley.
And he says these two slipped on a banana peel.
And then the guy comes by, oh, Batman, I'm telling you, a giant bat.
Right. And as they walk away, Knox is still making his little jokes and quips into the recorder. Nobody else is talking. He's holding the recorder out.
Yeah.
How much does he make? What's he pulling down after? Yeah.
After taxes.
Like, you can click the stop button, Knox.
Knox likes his own voice. He meets up with Jack Napier and Bob, Jack's personal enforcer. Jack gives Eckhart his payoff in the form of a sandwich. Eckhart insults Napier, who tells him he should think about the future. Eckhart tells Jack that Grissom is never going to put him in charge, and Eckhart and Bob pull guns on each other. Eckhart backs down, and they go their separate ways. Meanwhile, in the newsroom of the Gotham Globe, Knox arrives and is teased about his Batman stories by the other reporters. The one reporter that drew the picture of the bat, it was signed by Bob Kane.
Yeah. Bob Kane drew it.
Yeah. Yes. Bob Kane drew the picture. But that was not Bob Kane playing the reporter.
No, I know, but it wasn't just a tribute.
Yeah.
Yeah, they tried to get him in on a cameo, and I guess he was sick. I
really?
did read that.
Interesting.
He was already getting up there in age.
Wonder if Bill Fingers was available.
I don't think they called him.
And not in 1989. Yeah. At his desk, he finds photojournalist Vicky Vale. Vicky Vale. Who says she's interested. Deep cut for all you Prince fans. Who says she's interested in teaming up with the Batman on the Batman story. She suggests they talk to Harvey Dent and Commissioner Gordon at Millionaire Bruce Wayne's festival fundraiser, for which she's procured tickets.
I have a little moment. She's a photojournalist, and she got some awards, maybe the Pulitzer, for covering the revolution in Corto Maltese.
Yes.
I never even knew it at the time, and I don't know if there was a way really to look it up, but that was created by Frank Miller. It's an island off of the coast of South America, and they had sort of a Cuba type revolution.
Wait, that wasn't just for the movie. That was in comics, like
from Dark
canon?
Dark Knight Returns, and he based it on an old '60s comic about like a badass named Corto Maltese.
Wow,
that's interesting.
And it's come up really in other. Cool. Yeah, it is cool. Frank Miller.
It's the old standby place. They just use it whenever they need a.
Yeah, it's like a war-torn
military location.
Yeah. Meanwhile, at a meeting of his lieutenants, mob boss Carl Grissom is upset that Harvey Dent has been snooping around one of their front companies, Axis Chemicals. Jack Napier suggests they break in, steal everything, and burn the building down, making it look like corporate espionage.
The models in this movie are beautiful. Like before they get to that scene in Grissom's office, they go up. Just like they do with the cathedral, they go up the Art Deco building.
It looks so good.
The models are gorgeous.
So good.
Yeah, it was all. They took direct inspirations from some specific architects.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And just Anton Furst was the art director on this, and he won an Oscar for it.
Good for
the
him.
only Oscar that this movie won.
Good for him. It's beautiful.
I remember the 1990 Oscar episode of Siskel and Ebert. They were discussing how it was odd that the biggest movie of the year no longer got nominated for Best Picture. That was like a common thing.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Up until the 80s, and they were discussing that it was weird that Batman was not nominated for Best Picture.
Interesting.
Grissom,
my number one guy.
Grissom suggests Jack heads the operation. Jack doesn't like that idea. Alicia arrives then, and Grissom gives her and Jack a knowing look. He dismisses the meeting, and Jack asks if someone else could run the chemical plant torching. Grissom tells him he only trusts him. He's his number one guy. Jack leaves, and Grissom calls Detective Eckhart. Meanwhile, at a fundraiser for the bicentennial...
Can I just say, they're trying to raise $250,000 for the bicentennial. That's what they're short. Couldn't the money from this casino night that Bruce Wayne put up have paid that for the festival?
Expensive night, yeah.
Right. Like, hey, instead of a casino night where you let people gamble and it's all this on your, why don't you just give us the $250?
Well, he's probably footing the rest of the bill.
He must be.
Yeah, instead of giving Knox a grant.
Right, exactly. It's a fundraiser. I know who's rich.
Except nobody does.
Nobody
knows who's rich.
Nobody knows who he is. Okay, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, no. So, I mean, well, okay. Meanwhile, at a fundraiser for the bicentennial at Wayne Manor, none of the city officials will talk to Knox, and Vicky Vale can't seem to find Bruce Wayne despite asking a random person.
No one knows who he is.
Yeah.
Well, and he does have a cute line there where it's like, who's Bruce Wayne? And he says, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
You know, that's a neat telling cycle. He doesn't know who that is. But
so
it's
this
weird.
I guess this is as good a time as any to talk about how different this Bruce Wayne is from the comics Bruce Wayne or any Bruce Wayne prior or since, really.
Yeah.
This is not a millionaire playboy.
Well, he is, but how
he's a
did
millionaire.
But how did
is
he
he a
get his
millionaire
money?
playboy?
He's not a playboy.
How did he get them? Where is the money from?
Well, he obviously inherited it. I mean, the Waynes are rich. I mean, he grew up. I mean, Alfred talks about his family being like,
So the Waynes were rich before his father was rich is probably how they got the money.
I imagine
It's old money. I
they're
mean, he's got
old
a
money.
cave. He's got really old money.
So, I mean, you kind of have to discard all of your knowledge of.
This is a new Batman.
This is a different Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
This Bruce
You're
Wayne
right.
is different.
I'm pondering. It's more remarkable that the other characters don't know. Like, Vicky Vale's new in town. How does Knox not know what Bruce Wayne looks like or who he is?
Right.
In that trophy room, they're sort of spitballing as to why he's eccentric and this and that.
Well, yeah, and I mean,
how does this crack reporter from Gotham not know that?
They obviously know, like, who he is because, like, there's the fundraiser and Knox is like, oh, I can't get in there. Like, they know who he is, but they don't know anything about him.
They don't recognize him on sight.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
so
think he's weird.
So it seems to me like because clearly he's cleared out the police file on his parents, on himself. Mm-hmm. It seems to me that it seems to me he also cleared out the Gotham Globe's file.
Right.
He doesn't want anyone to know anything about him. I got the feeling watching through this time, because I was kind of paying more attention than I ever really have before to like details like that. That he was purposefully obfuscating his image in the public. Like, he was trying to keep a low profile.
And that's so off-brand, though.
It is, but that's so off-brand for the traditional Bruce Wayne, but not the way Keaton's playing him in this movie.
Right, you're absolutely right. But yeah,
they don't really touch upon it in this film. But if you do know Batman canon, he has spent a good many years away from Gotham.
Right.
And when he comes back, that's when the Batman first appears. So, and this is the Batman has only been around for, they said, like 8 weeks or 2 months or something like
Batman,
that.
But not Bruce Wayne.
No. So maybe Bruce Wayne just returned from Gotham too after many years.
Returned to Gotham.
That would have made the paper, and there would have been a photo with it.
So
unless he's specifically trying to keep a low profile and keep that out.
Is he hosting this party to catch the Joker? Because Batman's motivation is to catch him.
Well, no, the Joker doesn't exist yet.
No, this is
party.
The sole motivation for this is to help
the bicentennial.
Okay.
And
yeah.
That's the one part of his facade to show everybody that he's billionaire. Playboy.
I mean, he doesn't seem to be bothered with having his picture taken, because later on the scene on the steps of City Hall, several people are taking pictures, but certainly Bob is the Joker's henchman.
Yeah,
and he just looks at him.
Yeah, but he's at that point is kind of transfixed by like what's happening.
Right. So I'm just saying I don't know. None of that satisfies this point. Knox should know what he looks like.
Knox,
who he is.
Knox should know who Bruce Wayne is.
I mean,
I can believe
the mayor knows Knox on site. The district attorney knows Knox on site. The commissioner.
Everybody. I mean, the rest of Gotham, sure, but Knox should know. Absolutely.
All right.
So, like, I rest my case on her.
No, but to your case, you're right. It's a weird It's a weird Bruce Wayne.
It is, and he specifically like that. So I listened to a few. I wouldn't call it a ton. I listened to a number of interviews by Keaton and Burton, both at the time and from later on, discussing it. And they specifically wanted to play him as a weird PTSD suffering version of this character. That it was, they made that choice. Like, it wasn't like it just happened accidentally. Like, that this was purposeful.
No, it makes sense. You can see it because he has that outburst later in Vicky's apartment. You know, Bruce Wayne's not prone to outbursts.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, no.
So that did seem weird even when I was a kid.
And Michael Keaton specifically said he refused to read a single Batman comic before taking this role. He wanted to base it solely on the script.
All right.
Yeah. That's and that's it's, you get You get a Bruce Wayne unlike any other.
Which reminds me of Kevin Smith's comment. I forgot that's what he said about which explains Batman.
Yeah.
The lack of reading the comics. So different.
Yeah, it's very different. This is more different than any other Batman ever was again.
He's a Batman.
I think he's appropriately distracted. He played that aspect. Pretty well.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing. He doesn't care about anything except being Batman. When he's in his life as Bruce Wayne, he is bored, distracted, and uncomfortable. He's only comfortable when he's Batman.
Which is interesting
that
because Michael Keaton, at least from reading what I read on the internet, is claustrophobic, or mildly at least, but working in the suit, couldn't hear anything.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
They said that it really helped him focus and be detached as Batman.
Well, apparently the suit was awful.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Yeah,
he could
God,
barely
look at that
move.
thing.
Right.
And they had to have they had 5 different stunt people with different suits because they had to have a suit for jumping, a suit for flying.
Yeah.
It was turn the head.
Yeah.
It was really contentious too, just on the suit. Just in Hollywood, people, Stallone, there's a great quote of him being like, "I pressed iron for so long, blah blah blah. That's out the window, and now you can Velcro on muscles." Yeah. But meanwhile, Keaton is suffering and he's like, "I'm going to act. I'm going to use this as inspiration."
Yeah, exactly. That's 2 very different ways of looking at it. So Gordon decides, a uniformed officer tells Gordon that there's something going down at the chemical plant.
On the best CCTV ever. It can zoom in, it can record their voices, and if you look at it, it's the height of someone holding it on their shoulder. Right. It's not from above. No. It's the way you and I are looking right now.
Exactly.
So a guy walks around with the CCTV camera.
Exactly. And they're talking so clearly like they have lapel mics.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's not recorded from across the room at all.
No.
In fact, it's almost like ADR.
Yeah, who would have guessed?
Yeah. Gordon decides to head on down there. Knox and Vicky notice him leaving and try to follow, but get lost in Wayne Manor.
He knows how shitty Eckhart is. He's the commissioner. Why hasn't he fired this guy? Right. He's like, who's making the calls? Eckhart. Oh no,
This is terrible. Right. Someone should do something about that guy.
Somebody should do something about it.
I don't know who. They get lost in Wayne Manor. They come across a room filled with armor from around the world. They're making fun of Bruce Wayne when they're joined by him.
With a great joke.
Yes.
That line's great.
Yeah, it's from Japan. How do you know? Because I bought it in Japan.
Right.
They introduce themselves, but he's pulled away by Alfred on business, and he gives Knox a grant.
I don't like the Alfred or the commissioner. That was something I never liked. The casting of
they're
either
both
of those.
They're both really generic in these roles. Like Alfred is the most Old English butlery I think ever.
Well, both of them seem closer to their Adam West counterparts than anything else.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And they're the only 2 that made it through all 4 movies.
Through all of them. Yeah.
They're like, we'd like paychecks. We'll show up.
Oh yeah, they do.
In the Batcave, Bruce watches Commissioner Gordon's conversation on a security camera. So did you notice the
Well, I was going to say he needed reading glasses.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which was odd.
That is odd.
Yeah, Bruce Wayne wears glasses off and on.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the cameras behind, there was 3 cameras just behind that one big mirror. All on tripods on a table.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
At the chemical factory, Eckhart's passing out mugshots of Napier and telling his men to shoot to kill. Inside, Napier...
He says, shoot to kill, if you know what I mean.
Is that an entendre?
Right, exactly. I'd like to screw her if you get my drift.
Yeah, I'd like to fuck her on a tennis court if you know what I mean.
No, I have no idea what you...
Ooh, I'm going to look up blowjob.
I love that movie.
Yeah, me too.
What movie are you guys talking about?
Kicking and Screaming. Not the soccer one with Will Ferrell.
It's Noah Baumbach's first movie.
Yeah.
I've never seen that one either.
It's hilarious.
It's so good.
It's chock full of just lines that are so good.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. Inside, Napier is opening the safe. He finds it empty and realizes he's been set up. He tells his men to be careful. They leave the office and are immediately found by the police. They scatter, and a cat and mouse game commences throughout the factory. Batman arrives and takes out some of Napier's men. Commissioner Gordon arrives and instructs the officers to take Napier alive. I'm in charge here, not Boss Grissom. He sees Batman and is dumbstruck. Batman finds Napier, but Bob gets the drop on Gordon and tells Batman to let him go or he'll kill Gordon. Batman sets Napier down. Napier picks up his gun, only to find Batman's disappeared.
Jack, he says nice outfit to Batman. So he appreciates.
Yeah, that's very
appreciates the costume.
That's very on brand for Jack Napier / the Joker.
Right. Well, Napier.
Yeah, he appreciates the theatrics of Batman. So Napier decides to kill Eckhart. At that moment, Batman reappears and Napier tries to shoot him, but Batman deflects the bullet, which strikes Napier in the face. He falls over the edge of the catwalk he's on, and Batman catches him. Batman tries to pull him up, but Napier slips and falls into a vat of chemicals.
Batman's face was so expressionless, it almost seemed like he just let him go.
Yeah. Even as a kid,
he
I
let
thought
him,
so.
Like he let him drop. Right?
Yeah, like his lips pursed slightly tighter, and that was it.
He didn't have there wasn't a lot of like struggle in his face to try to pull this.
He wasn't trying to save his life. Yeah.
I mean, it's entirely possible that they just had like 10 close-ups of him.
Yeah.
Because it was just a close-up of his face.
But at this angle.
Yeah, exactly. So Batman makes his getaway before the police can apprehend him, and a little later, in a pool of chemical drainage in the sewer, a white hand with green fingernails burst forth from the liquid, clutching a single playing card, the Joker.
What if it had been like the Queen of Clubs or something? He would have gone a whole different way with it.
Call me Queen of Clubs.
It's a good thing he brought his lucky deck.
Yes, it is.
Just like
his lucky
Carl
deck.
Totem.
The next day in the newsroom, Knox is on the phone with the police. The official line is that Napier committed suicide. They hang up on him, and Knox tries to make a date with Vicky, but she's on her way to have dinner with Bruce Wayne.
She's like, maybe Batman has like a flight pattern or something.
Exactly. It's like, he doesn't, Vicky. He doesn't. In a huge formal dining room, Vicky and Bruce eat soup until Vicky questions why they're in there, and Bruce suggests they go somewhere more intimate.
Oh, she says, "Do you like eating in here?" He says, "Oh yeah." And he looks around and is like, "Tell you the truth, I don't think I've ever been in this room before."
Yeah. And it just makes me think of Tommy Lee Jones and JFK, which I love JFK. I watch it more often than I should. But yeah, where Clay Shaw gives that explanation of the long chipping. That's precisely the point of a long dining table. Yes.
Yeah, I love that scene. I remember that as a little kid. Yeah. Just being like, do you want to go eat in Alfred's kitchen?
Right.
The kitchen, you know. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's like connected to Alfred's apartment. He's like, I live here. You guys don't clean up. I'll be right.
See, I just assumed it was just the kitchen.
I think it's just the kitchen in Wayne Manor.
I just assumed that him and Alfred lived together, so he just spent all of his time with Alfred, like in Alfred's quarters.
Well, I mean,
basically.
Alfred's constantly bringing him food to wherever he's sitting, like in the Batcave, wherever he is. Alfred just brings him food to where he is.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean, though. Like, if he's not in the Batcave or like in his bedroom, he's probably like where Alfred eats. Well, Alfred's like his dad.
The camera even, yes, he is.
Yeah, more than he is Alfred being his butler. You know, like he's they chill all the time. It's like not like what's his name, Archer in Woodhouse, where he's like screaming at him all the time.
Yeah, no, he raised Bruce for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I always just read that as like that was Grandpa's door. He just goes out and he just lives on the other side in like a studio.
Well, I mean,
the servants' quarters would be right off the kitchen.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was Alfred's kitchen, but definitely, I think probably connected to his quarters.
Yeah, which is, I just thought I always love that scene. It's very endearing to the relationship. You know.
Yeah.
Well, and the camera catches their food in there, and I can't remember what it was, but it was definitely more like comfort foody than the bougie soup they were having at the giant table.
Fried chicken or something.
So he kind of made that point. Yeah.
Yeah. So we cut to the kitchen where they finish their meal and several glasses of wine with Alfred, who's telling stories about Bruce's childhood. He excuses himself and goes to bed. They discuss family and how Bruce fits in with this opulent lifestyle. Meanwhile, across town in a back alley surgeon's office, Jack is in bandages. The surgeon tries to remove them, but is horrified by what he sees underneath. Jack demands a mirror.
And he was horrified before he wrapped him in the bandages.
Yeah.
It's just now Jack's awake, and he's so afraid to show him what.
So afraid, yeah.
How little he did.
Jack demands a mirror, and when he sees what's in it, he begins laughing hysterically.
A pretty cool laugh. Nicholson's laugh is
Nicholson's
good in
laugh
this movie.
is real good in this movie. Back at Wayne Manor, Bruce and Vicky are a little drunk. They kiss on a staircase.
Can I kiss you on the veranda?
You can kiss me
The lips
on the
would be
mouth.
fine.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Carl Grissom is having a drink in his office. Jack arrives, reveals his disfigured visage, and announces his new persona as the Joker. He kills Grissom.
He says, "I've been dead once. It's very liberating."
Yeah.
Jack's dead, my friend. You can call me Joker.
You should. So speaking of death, he says you should think about it as therapy.
Back at Wayne Manor, Bruce can't sleep, and Vicky awakes in Bruce's bed to find him hanging upside down in the dark. Like, Bruce is weird in this movie.
He is. Yeah.
Red flag, girl. Go home.
Yeah.
Run away. Run to your car. He is hanging upside down from the roof when you wake
Which
up.
is not a left field sort of choice. I mean, it is still on for Bruce Wayne. But yeah, you're right. They're going for weirdo.
Yeah.
Can you still get those things? Do they still sell those like hang from the roof
I imagine
hook things?
Yeah, I imagine you can probably find
Yeah.
it on Amazon or something.
Asking for a friend. I'm not saying I want one of those. But,
You're not saying you want to.
I mean, I want one, but yeah, if you find one, let me know.
We'll string you up upside down. We can, we can figure something.
We could do
in
something
this
right
room.
now. Yeah, Jack sits down at Grissom's desk and sees a headline about Batman. He ruminates about his upcoming terror spree.
It's cool that his shirt or his suit was not damaged in that acid.
No, it is. It's good for him. Yeah. And
He just knows a really fast tailor.
He must.
we get the. So I have this very distinct memory of Night After Night Johnny Carson quoting this scene. Did anyone watch Carson around this time?
Yeah, sure.
I just remember Night After Night Johnny Carson doing the "Oh, wait till they get a load of me."
Oh yes, yeah. I wasn't sure what line. Yeah. Oh yeah. It was iconic.
Wow. Right after that line, he just proceeds to just go.
It's like, what are you doing?
Well,
Jack?
that's what I mean. He brings the that's something Napier wouldn't have done.
No, he
But
wouldn't.
the "get a load of me" is a line he would have said. But the boop boop boop.
Yeah.
He did go crazy.
Yeah, no,
Nicholson did it.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, he's Napier, but crazier.
But I guess the Peter and Goober, the producers were really scared, just sort of like with Superman, and so they real hastily cut together a teaser to put out there, and it was that.
Yeah.
And suddenly, like public interest went way up.
Well, yeah, because
Wait till they get a load of me.
because
And it's
Nicholson
just
is
like, oh,
breathtaking
shit.
in this movie. He is just Nicholsoning to the rafters.
Yeah. That
He's
trailer.
He's scarier in this than he is in The Shining.
Oh God,
For
yeah.
sure.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, okay, and Nicholson said that he always found so he thought he was playing a character for children. And that's how he was playing the Joker because
There were obviously no production meetings.
because yeah, right.
He's playing it for kids. Keaton's playing this weirdo who has PTSD.
Well, and he's playing it for kids in the sense that he felt kids enjoyed being terrified.
It sounds like Nicholson.
Yeah.
Well, he nailed it.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever had children.
Yeah, his take was like
even
kids
love children.
kids want to be scared, so I'm going to scare the fuck out of them.
Well done, sir.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
The next morning, Vicky wakes up Bruce and tries to make a lunch date. He says he's busy and then says he'll be out of town for a few days. On the way out, Vicky mentions it to Alfred, who says, "Oh, we're not going anywhere."
I brought that up to Al. That's a glaring problem right there. It's almost like, yeah. But how does he not know to just go along with anything Bruce might have said?
So Alfred in this, there's two things that pop right out to me. He sold his bro out.
Yeah, just right there, like, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not going anywhere.
And he just takes Vicky into the Batcave later without ever asking.
Yeah. There's a note on that once we get there. Yeah.
I think that Alfred, like we see in later Batman movies, is resistant to the idea of Batman.
But he keeps his secrets.
Yeah.
This one was just like, nuh-uh.
Well, and I think he sees his in with Vicky Vale because finally
he's really pushing.
Bruce met a woman.
Yeah,
Right.
and he's super.
And he's like, you should be having sex and not fighting crime in the middle of the night, you psycho.
Right, but
Alfred,
he never
75% of Alfred's lines are like, "Hey, you should hook up with Vicky."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I think that's from a parental thing. Like, I need grandchildren. Like, you need someone to live in this
Right.
house, you freaking weirdo.
Well, yeah, and he
that I get.
He
But
says,
like, If she says, if Bruce says we're going to be gone, you just go along with it and say
Yeah,
you're going to be gone.
Yeah, exactly.
You know he's Batman, no matter how you feel about it.
But yeah, no, Alfred literally says later, I have no desire to spend my few remaining years grieving for the loss of old friends or their son.
Yeah. Puts it right out.
Okay, so in Grissom's apartment, Alicia returns to find the Joker waiting for her. She faints.
His little hat and matching pocket square. Yeah.
Honey, you'll never believe what happened to me today. At a meeting of mob bosses, Jack, in flesh makeup, is telling them that he's in charge now. One boss doesn't accept that and is electrocuted by the Joker. The Joker tells them that they have one day to think it over and then makes them leave. He has a chat with the charred corpse and decides to just kill them all. He laughs maniacally.
He said Antoine got a little hot under the collar.
Yeah.
Ooh, we got a live one here.
We got a live one.
This is like Ark of the Covenant kind of horrifying memories
face
for me as a
melting.
kid.
Yeah.
I was very young when I saw this the first time, and that scene still freaks me out because of it.
At this point, he tells Bob the Goon, he grabs Bob. First, he asks Bob to see what Knox knows about the Batman, and then he says, "And Bob, you are my number one." A guy.
Yeah, he just does a Jack Palance.
Yes, he does a Jack Palance impression.
And Bob thinks it's funny, so it's totally a little indie for them.
Yeah. Him and Bob sharing a joke. So in the newsroom, Vicky finds the file on Bruce Wayne empty. Knox is concerned she's becoming distracted in their hunt for Batman. She goes back to Wayne Manor and covertly follows Bruce, who journeys to a rundown part of Gotham where he puts flowers down on the sidewalk in front of an abandoned hotel. He continues on to the steps of City Hall, where the mob bosses announce that they're taking over Grissom's business.
So the mob bosses are giving a press conference.
I know, isn't that great?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Joker and a troop of killer mimes reveal themselves and gun down the mob bosses.
Danny Elfman refused to score this part of the movie.
Whoa, what?
Because of the mimes.
Oh my God.
He tried to demand that the mimes get fired.
Really?
No.
God damn it.
You pulled us in now.
Nailed him.
God, you got me again. God, I'm so... God, you set that up for... Yeah, wow.
I was waiting ever since.
That's what
since we were talking about Boingo Boingo.
I'm putting it all in my mind now, yeah. Fuck.
Bruce is transfixed by the Joker, who jumps in a car and is driven away. Vicky approaches Bruce, who just leaves.
Well, and before that, Joker, it's really cool. First of all, I love the way he's dressed, and he has white makeup except for the little sort of heart lips that he's painted on. Yeah. And I love the line it's your Uncle Bingo.
Time to pay the piper.
Time to pay the check.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and then just throws that quill into his neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, badass.
And then he says, "The pen is truly mightier than the sword."
But yeah, the look that he and Bruce share.
Yeah. And he does that little wave.
He doesn't even know who Bruce Wayne is.
No, he doesn't.
Richest guy in town.
No. And this other businessman, shady business, but still another businessman, has no idea.
Right.
Bruce arrives home to Alfred, who tries to interest Bruce in furthering his relationship with Vicky. Bruce says he doesn't have time. He just found out Jack Napier is still alive and running Grissom's men. Meanwhile, in her spacious apartment, Vicky calls Knox and asks him to find out what happened at the corner where Bruce laid the flowers. The Joker, meanwhile, is cutting up pictures of chemical weapons attacks when Bob arrives with pictures of Knox and Vicky. Joker is taken with Vicky and tells Bob he's about to get a new girl, and he asks for the phone book. He does a little dance.
Earlier, the newspaper had a headline that there was a headline about the Batman and the killing on the steps of the killing of all the mob bosses. And Joker's upset that the Batman is
stealing all
his press.
That's right. Yeah, I missed that shot or that scene.
What kind of world do we live in?
Where a man dressed up as Bat gets all my press.
This town needs an enema. Hey, who had to figure out what an enema was at a very early age?
I had no idea.
I didn't either. Yeah. I thought it was enemy for a long time, and then enema, and I just had more questions than answers.
I just straight up asked my dad, and he was like, "You put water in your butt." I was like, "What?"
At least that.
Yeah. Then in Axis Chemicals, Joker tells the chemist to ship every unit they have.
We're going to take it out a whole new door. I love that line. I wish there were reasons to use it, but
There's so many.
like
Nicholson
we're cranking
lines.
it up a notch, but
Yeah,
no, we're going to
take
take it out a whole new door.
I don't even know what that means as a
Me
metaphor.
neither, but I love it.
We have another door.
Yeah. There's multiple doors.
If I was his henchman, things would have gone down like that. Yeah. We have a door? No, we don't have a door.
God damn it.
God, I'm so gullible.
In a Gotham newscast, anchor Becky reports that 2 supermodels have died from apparent allergic reactions to beauty products, leaving them with hideous death grins.
I think by any standard, this is a fantastic Joker plot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Movies or shows or anything, but like the mixture of the different makeups together.
Yeah,
and
no,
like
classic
how sinister-
Joker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a great written Joker plot.
And it's the stakes in this movie are so low compared to like what they are now. No one's trying to snap half the universe out of existence. Like he's just making poison makeup for the citizens of one city.
But it's well thought out and sinister, like he was in the comics.
Right. His motivation here is he wants more press.
Right.
Because the Batman stole his press from his last thing.
Yeah, I want attention.
Yeah.
And it came up with Heath Ledger too. You know, he has that video of the guy who pretends to be Batman. And yeah.
So the newscast is interrupted by the Joker. Well, Becky falls dead from the same ailment. Then the newscast is interrupted by the Joker, who puts on a commercial parody featuring the dead models, in which
love that Joker.
Ding.
Yeah.
In which
I love the way he pushed the screen to the side.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a kind of interruption, like he just like literally pushes the screen out of the way.
Yeah, they like
and then
split
he's there.
screen.
Yeah. That was cool.
Yeah.
Did they do that in this one?
They did that later when he.
Later on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Later with the mayor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But yeah, it was
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what reminded me of it.
He informs Gotham that their entire supply of beauty and hygiene products are tainted and potentially deadly. Bruce Wayne, who was watching the news, luckily, looks over Napier's file and sees he has an aptitude for chemistry. He tells Alfred they're going shopping.
That that's hilarious going shopping, because that leads me to be like, the Batcave did not look as cool as it could have. It's like, where does he get those wonderful toys? Radio Shack. It was like some metal shelves with just random electronic equipment on it.
Yeah.
He's just getting started.
No. Other than that one time when they pull into the Batcave and there's like when the Batmobile pulls in and when he's with Vicky. Other than that, the Batcave is like some monitors and where he keeps his suit.
Right.
And that's it.
That's it.
And the
like,
cave.
And like he says to Alfred,
cave,
let's go shopping. So in this, there's no Wayne Foundation or Wayne Enterprises. So he literally does have to go shopping for his wonderful toys.
Well, no, I assume they're shopping for hygiene products because they're going to do chemistry testing.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, that is what's right.
When I was a kid, even now when I watched it again, because the next time we see him, he's in the Batmobile. But I thought he was shopping for Batmobiles and stuff until he explains to Vicky Vale that he figured out the secret.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And then I realized, he's getting shampoo.
Yeah,
And
he's shopping for hygiene products. Yeah.
I'm sure that was.
The next news broadcast, featuring disheveled anchors, laments that there's no discernible pattern to the deaths caused by the Joker's tainted products. In the mayor's office, he's putting pressure on Harvey Dent to keep the festival alive and find out what the Joker is poisoning them with. I'm working on it. Use all the help we can get.
Billy D was still looking good.
Yeah.
Everybody on TV looked terrible, like they hadn't showered in days. But Billy D,
don't crack.
He's like, I got my private stash.
And the Gotham mayor's totally like the Jaws mayor. Like, look, there's gonna be a festival.
No matter.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Poisoning.
Yeah. At Wayne Manor, Vicky leaves a message for Bruce that she's going to be late to their date at the museum. Alfred relays the message, and Bruce realizes he didn't make a date with Vicky. The Joker, meanwhile, is putting on some makeup. Alicia, now in a hideous mask and sounding drugged, asks where they're going. Joker says, Daddy's going to make some art.
A restaurant in a museum is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. I like that idea. Have you ever the Met? Have you ever been to the Met?
Yes.
They have like like a little cafe there, but it's not nearly as nice.
Right. Yeah. At the Art Institute of Chicago, same kind of thing. Coffee.
Yeah. Milwaukee has a really nice art museum, actually. It's on the lake, and it looks like a giant sailboat, and it has these sunshades because the entire roof is glass. It has these sunshades that go up and down like a sail.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
That's really neat.
At the art gallery,
Museum
The
facts.
Flugenheim
Is that what it's
Museum. Yeah, not the Guggenheim, the Flugenheim.
That's another great museum, the Guggenheim.
Yeah, is what the museum is called.
oh, the Flugenheim.
the
yeah.
Flugenheim.
yeah.
Like the Flugelhorn.
These
or-
are these
The
have
Guggenheim
been these have
or-
been museum facts.
Okay.
At at the art gallery, Vicky arrives to find Bruce isn't there yet. She starts to wait. She is seated and she waits. A gift arrives containing a gas mask. She puts on when purple gas begins emanating from the vents, causing everyone to pass out. The Joker arrives with his crew, puts on some tunes, and gets down to defacing some art.
Well, so the little box with the mask and the colorful mask,
Yeah.
and even the angles in this scene, like this scene, he was thinking of Batman '66. Like,
Totally.
he was thinking of that Joker.
Yeah.
yeah.
This is where the color palette really like
Even
pops.
the Dutch
Yeah.
angles that the yeah.
Yeah, and then the Prince song on, and just very
Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Lawrence.
He's a homicidal artist. He calls himself.
So he makes his way up to Vicky, sits down, looks over her work, and appreciates it.
He prevents Bob from stabbing one of the paintings.
Yeah.
'Cause he's just like, I like this one, Bob. Leave it.
Yeah.
He tells her he is an artist and she will join him documenting his work. He brings out Alicia, his latest work of art, makes her remove her mask, and Vicky is disgusted by her mutilated face.
I'm sorry. Vicky says, what do you want? Joker says, my face on the $1 bill. You must be joking. Do I look like I'm joking?
Yeah, and she goes, no. We haven't talked about her yet, but Kim Basinger was really adorable in this movie.
She was, yeah.
She wasn't just like the pretty girlfriend. She had a lot of character. She was personable. She was cute. Like, she was great.
Yeah, she was.
But she also gets tossed around like a rag doll.
Oh yeah, yeah. She does a lot of screaming. So Joker tries to spray Vicky with acid from his lapel flower, and she throws water in his face. He feigns pain, covering his face.
Well, and he
frightened.
does the Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah.
Sound, like, oh, I'm melting, I'm melting.
Yes.
In what world?
And after throwing the water in his face and trying to get away from this creep, when he starts screaming I'm melting, she walks over and starts patting him on the back.
Right.
And, like, trying to comfort him. He's like,
Yeah,
"No,
exactly.
You're okay. You're okay.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to be rude.
Yeah. Then he jumps out and frightens her. He literally says boo, showing his now white streaked face. Just then, Batman bursts in through the skylight. He grabs Vicky and, using a grappling device, escapes with her. The Joker wonders where he gets his equipment.
His wonderful toys.
His wonderful toys.
The next day, the mayor's like, sadly, all the money we raised for the festival has to go to repair the roof of the museum.
Right. God damn it.
Outside, Batman says, get in the car. And Vicky says, which one?
And then the Batmobile.
There it is, the Batmobile.
Yeah.
Obvious.
Brian said it earlier. Best Batmobile, I think.
Best
by far.
Batmobile.
It's really cool.
Yeah. Way better than like the Tumbler from.
Right, that one makes sense. Like,
Yeah, that's
like,
a realistic
Good for them for
Batmobile.
exactly.
Like, sure, I get
But
that, yeah.
Stylistically, this is the best one.
Absolutely.
And also incredibly phallic, but
Well, yeah, it's there's multiple penises on this thing.
it's not a downside, I would say, to this Batmobile. Whereas other, fictional vehicles sometimes are very, very penisy.
Yeah.
This one is a sexy penis.
It is, and the direct the direct
to the
inspiration
bank.
for the vehicle from the ambiguously gay duo.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Ace and Gary are personal heroes of mine.
Batman and Vicky jump into the Batmobile and flee. They're chased by the Joker's men and eventually have to give up the vehicle because the streets are impassable. Batman puts up armor on his car and they run into an alley that turns out to be a dead end. Batman asks Vicky how much she weighs, shoots a lion into the catwalk above them, and they shoot up, but are too heavy to make it. Batman drops to the ground, Vicky gets to the catwalk, and Batman battles the Joker's men as Vicky takes pictures. Batman is triumphant.
It's nighttime and the goons refuse to take their sunglasses off.
Yep.
Like they're married to their sunglasses.
Well, that's just
they love this look.
That's just good gooning.
Yeah.
Batman retrieves Vicky in the Batmobile and takes her to the Batcave. He tells her he's deciphered the Joker's poison and gives her the file. She asks why he took her there, and he tells her he has something he needs. And then he, I assume, knocks her out. He just kind of raises the cape dramatically, and we cut.
Yeah, and she's out of there.
Yeah, there's bats fly up.
I wouldn't think he would like strike her.
No, I assumed like
some
gas or something.
bat gas.
Yeah, he roofied her something. Chloroform. Something else that they do in movies that doesn't work in real life. She awakes in her spacious apartment and realizes Batman took the film that had the pictures of him on it. Knox calls and she has him put the Joker chemical story in the evening edition. The news tells people how to avoid the poison, and Joker, watching the broadcast, is angry.
Yeah, we should have mentioned it earlier too, but he shoots TVs just to turn them off.
Yes.
It's not even the reaction to what's on it. Just like 3 times.
He tells Bob he's going to kill Batman. At Wayne Manor, Alfred suggests that Bruce tells Vicky the truth. So Bruce shows up at Vicky's spacious apartment and tries to explain why he's so mysterious, but he just can't get the words out.
Yeah.
I really liked the spacious joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bruce comes in. He says, "Nice apartment, lots of space."
He does that arm thing. Yeah.
Later, when the Joker comes in, he says, "Nice place you got here, lots of space." They just mirrored the line.
Both Bruce and the Joker appreciated the spaciousness of her apartment.
Yes.
So, he can't get the words out. The doorbell rings, and it's the Joker, bringing a large gift with him. He and Bruce have a confrontation, and the Joker shoots Bruce, leaving him apparently unconscious on the floor, but not before he uses his catchphrase, "You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?"
Yeah, and Keaton's reaction is awesome.
Yeah.
You want to get nuts?
Yeah.
Let's get nuts.
Yeah, like it's hard to do, but he was sort of tipped off his balance. Bruce Wayne.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Because he was like, whoa, wait, what?
Yeah,
Right.
he got triggered.
Yeah, totally triggered.
Never rub another man's rhubarb.
Another rooster in the hen house.
Oh, yeah.
Miss Vale. Joker leaves, doing a little poem, and Vicky turns to find Bruce is gone, and there's a silver platter with a bullet dent in it. She opens the Joker's gift, and it contains a Jack-in-the-Box style scare with flowers.
Yep.
This is my favorite movie feint of all time.
Oh, God, it's great. The way she just tumbles to the floor.
Yeah, just straight down. Her head kind of like cocks a little bit, and then she just drops to the floor. It's great.
The timing, the feint, the music cue, and the cut is it's pure cinema. It's so beautiful. At the Gotham Globe, Knox tells her that his research has uncovered that the corner where he left the flowers was where Bruce's parents were killed.
He's all news to me.
Yeah, that's Bruce Wayne apparently is a rich guy.
Yeah, who knew?
Vicky leaves to talk to Bruce. At the Batcave, Bruce wants to mope over his parents, and Alfred tells Bruce he doesn't want to spend his time that way. Mayor calls a press conference on the steps of City Hall where he announces that the Bicentennial Festival is canceled. Joker hijacks the broadcast, tells everyone that he's going to put on the festival himself and give away millions of dollars to the crowd.
All right, so that's pretty rad. Heath Ledger's Joker did the same kind of thing, but where he actually uses other people to stand between he and Batman. So like Heath Ledger did it with the 2 fairies that were crossing the harbor, pitting them. But he loves to have other people be involved, so Bruce has to choose.
Yeah, exactly.
So cool.
Bruce, watching the broadcast in the Batcave, looks thoughtful and flashes back to the night his parents were killed by a young Jack Napier.
Yeah.
Which he figured out when he said, "You ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?"
I think it's cool that this being the first serious Batman movie, that they let this secret go on as long as it did. Like they didn't tell us, they didn't even tell us that his parents were dead. and murdered.
Yeah.
Until Knox said it just a few minutes ago. But then,
And what I read was both that and revealing the secret to Vicky Vale were both things Burton did at the last minute. I couldn't find any anecdotes as to why, or if it was a panic thing. But yeah, those two particular things, he just unilaterally like, okay, we're doing that. Napier killed his parents.
This is our first screen appearance of Martha Wayne's Pearls.
Right.
Not the last.
Right.
We had one this year.
Yeah, Jesus.
Bruce comes out of his reverie.
Yeah, Bruce comes out of his reverie to find that Alfred has let Vicky into the Batcave.
Yes, Alfred.
Alfred, what the fuck?
Right,
man.
exactly.
One of the writers denied being involved writing her walking into the Batcave. I thought that was really interesting. Little
Right.
tidbit. They were like, "Oh no, I didn't write that part."
That's what I was just saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
that and the Joker killing his parents. Yeah,
Yeah.
those were Burton's last.
So
minute.
I understand how if you've got this screenplay and you're not looking at it like a Batman movie, you're just looking at it as a straight kind of like
Right.
action movie.
Yeah.
At this point, this beat makes sense character wise, but for Batman,
in a screenplay, yeah, you're right.
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
But for the Batman mythology, for Batman as a character, this is terrible.
Right, we know it's not right. Yeah.
This is some Superman shit. You don't just take people to the Fortress of Solitude, Superman. What the hell's wrong with you?
Exactly.
Both so eager to tell somebody.
Yes.
I don't think they're eager to tell people things. I think they're eager to
Show
get it in.
people. Yeah.
They're
Yes.
trying, they're trying to get kissed.
Well, no, I mean, I don't think. No, Alfred is
Alfred
eager for
is
Bruce
trying
to
to
get
get
kissed.
Bruce-
Bruce
yeah.
really isn't that
Some
interested. I mean,
smooches.
he's kind of like, yeah, she's nice. I like her, but
While they do it, Alfred's going to hold a CCTV camera in his arms.
It's
Yep,
like you-
because they're all over Bruce Wayne Manor.
You seen Sex Lies and Videotape?
All the cameras are at waist level.
Let's do it Butler style. And it tucks. So Bruce and Vicky discuss their future. Bruce tells her he has to go to work. He suits up, and we see the Batmobile shoot its way into Axis Chemicals. It drops a bomb and then drives out amidst the exploding factory. We see that Batman was operating the Batmobile by remote control, and then we see the Joker taunting Batman as he escapes via helicopter.
It was Joker copter. He's got his face painted on the side.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Again, a Batman 66.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and a lot of the merchandise that Nicholson made money off of looked nothing like him. It looked like just the classic like comics Joker. Later that night, Joker and his men parade down Gotham's main street with a gaggle of balloons. He dances and they throw money to the crowd. Vicky Vale and Alex Knox show up and Vicky starts taking pictures. Meanwhile, above the city, Batman surveys the situation in the Batplane. Joker gives a speech, sees the Batjet, and he and his men put on gas masks as he releases Smilex gas from the balloons. The crowd begins to panic. Vicky's a terrible driver and accidentally takes out Knox. But Knox, to his credit, then grabs the bat and tries to start beating the Joker's men to make the balloons fly away.
Yeah.
Well, and another piece of trivia I read, the script originally had Knox dying, being killed.
Yeah.
But then what I read was but the producers liked him so much, they allowed him to live.
Well, I heard because they wanted him in the sequel, but then he wasn't in the sequel.
Right, yeah. That is a weird guy to be around.
Yeah.
Robert Wool.
Batman flies down the street, collects the balloons, and flies them above the city, releasing them to harmlessly float away.
Joker, when this happens, he has this sad delivery. He's like, "Those are my balloons."
Yeah.
Yeah. Why didn't somebody tell me he had one of those things?
But yeah, my balloon. Yeah, again, that's such a Joker. So funny. That's the problem.
And then
He's facing.
he shoots Bob.
Yeah.
Yes, just point
Bob
blank
is like,
murders Bob.
Bob, gun, and then he just shoots him because I'm guessing because he was his number one guy.
Right.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And he's disappointed about the balloons.
Once you say that, it's like the mafia death kiss.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Or the sleeps with the fishes. Yeah.
And then there's that shot where the Batplane flies up and pauses in front of the full moon.
So beautiful.
Beautiful.
Iconic.
Yeah. So
I bought so many toys because of that scene.
Oh my gosh.
I again had that poster. It was a poster of that shot.
Yep.
My
That reminded me of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
For those of you who survived the last season.
Oh yeah.
That shot of the dragons coming up through the clouds. So I was like, ooh,
very much like that. I had a teacher who had I think like every Batman poster up in her room after the following year, and at the end of the year, if you I forget, it was like if you got good on a test or something, or like you won something, then like you could choose one of the posters to take home.
Oh, nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What school was that at?
Mary E.
Oh, yes.
Not Mary E. Dill. No, yeah.
Yeah, Mary Dill.
Mary Dill.
It's out in 3 Point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The other schools called us the Mary E. Dildos.
Of course they did.
Kids are clever.
Yeah, they did.
You are a dildo, so. Not all the kids, just you.
Yeah, just me. I was I was a total dildo.
I was a dildo.
The dill do's and the dill don'ts.
There's only 2 types of people in the world.
That's right, son.
People who say there's 2 kinds of people and people who don't. They make
the rest of us who can't do math.
Yeah. What was it? There's 2 kinds of people in the world: those who can infer things from incomplete data sets. Batman crashes, takes Vicky Vale hostage, and radios for his men to pick him up at the top of Gotham Cathedral. Oh, wait, I missed the part. Batman flies down to the street, collects the balloon, it flies into the city. He flies back down and tries to take out the Joker with gunfire, but misses, and the Joker shoots him down with an oversized revolver.
And a single bullet.
Single bullet. I feel like this directly inspired that moment in Dark Knight where Heath Ledger is facing him down.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Same angle.
And this is like a great oppositional thing where the Joker is just some gangster.
Well, yeah.
And Batman is a freaking multimillionaire, with toys.
And he's coming at him, and the Joker's only power is not moving.
Yeah.
He's like, no,
huge,
I'm just going to stand
balls.
here. Exactly.
It's just like,
it's fine if he dies, and that's what makes him so dangerous.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. So Batman crashes. The Joker takes Vicky Vale hostage and radios for his men to pick him up at the top of Gotham Cathedral.
Which, as we said earlier, John Peters came up with the idea and built the model for that cathedral all on his own without telling Burton. And then just sprung it on him as a producer. Like, yeah, it's going to end up here on this giant...
And Burton likes, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, So this
it did give us the image of Batman opening a trap door and this guy who can get anywhere and can disappear in a puff of smoke, but it's just like this sort of long distance shot of him like
peeking up, looking around. Yeah. I mean, so
it's just like he took the stairs.
This is definitely because he's kind of injured and that this is definitely the weakest part of the film. I feel like
it is
for the climax, but I don't know.
Yeah, by far. It starts to fall apart a little bit story-wise here.
Yeah, and just it's just not that engaging of a climax. Once he and the Joker like actually start clashing directly, it's engaging just because the 2 actors are engaging. Mm-hmm. But as narrative, it's just kind of meh.
Well, didn't Nolan do a similar thing though?
Yeah, exactly. At the end,
the Joker hanging from
and the Joker just says, "I don't want to kill you.
All right, I need you. You complete me."
Yeah.
And that's kind of what's happening in this scene a little bit too.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just interesting because of the way that this kind of got cobbled together at the end. I wonder what else they could have ended this movie like.
Yeah, I wonder.
Yeah. So, anyways, Batman.
But that gun, though.
Yeah.
Oh, that long ass gun.
Yes.
Oh man.
That would not work.
No, that's not how guns work at all.
He could not walk with that gun in those pants.
He couldn't, and the gun would not fire a bullet properly.
Right. Just kind of comes spitting out the end.
Right. Handgun caliber.
So they go up the tower, and Joker and Vicky get to the top. The Joker sprays Belle with acid, causing it to fall and block the police from following them upstairs. Batman arrives at the top, battles Joker's men as Joker and Vicky dance. Batman takes out all the men up there, and he confronts Joker.
The blocking with the Batman goon fight is really cool.
Yeah.
Whoever the stuntman was awesome. Like when he gets thrown and he does the roll
Yeah.
and gets up. It was really cool. But
And there's
very
like
bad
smashing
blocking on the
stuff
fight.
with like that like pulley thing.
There was the one goon that tried to jump on Batman and just went through the floor behind him.
You tried.
Yeah. Good old college try.
Yeah.
Or junior college try.
Yeah, exactly. Batman takes all the men out and he confronts Joker. They blame each other for existing. and the big
and they're accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. That just
How childish can you be?
yes. Well, yeah, and just like he taps Joker on the shoulder and says, "Excuse me, have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?"
Right, and then bow.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
Once
that
they
was-
start
yeah.
confronting each other, they're great together.
Yeah.
Vicky Vale finally like helps out here. 'Cause
Yes.
she sees the Batman in the background and starts to fake come on to the Joker.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And yeah, just telling him how hot he is, and then she's like, "Oh, and purple. I love purple."
Yeah, she's great. Kim Basinger is great.
And he's sort of put off and weirded out, which
Yeah.
is something
He's like-
the Joker has done in like if
Yeah.
anybody sort of except for Harley,
Yeah.
like if anyone starts to sort of identify with him, he's creeped out.
He's
it's
like-
sort of that catch-22 awareness of like, hey, I know I'm batshit crazy. Why do you think I'm so cool?
yeah, there must be something wrong with you.
Right, exactly. Yeah, the Groucho Marx quote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be member of any
Club that would have
me as
someone
a
like
member.
me. Yeah.
So he punches the Joker, who falls over the edge. Batman and Vicky both peer over the edge, and the Joker grabs them, pulling them down. We see the Joker.
Classic.
Yeah. Yeah, both hands. Yeah, we see the Joker is safe on the ledge while Batman and Vicky hang perilously. The Joker taunts them until his helicopter arrives and drops a rope ladder for him. He starts to climb up when Batman shoots a line which attaches to the Joker leg, and on the other end, a heavy stone gargoyle. Joker tries to hang on, but he's pulled off the ladder where he plummets to his death.
Yep.
Batman and Vicky lose their grip and fall, but Batman shoots one more line and catches them just in time.
This was another cute Vicky Vale moment. Right before they stopped falling, she's screaming at the top of her lungs, and then they stop. She's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
That's great.
I tinkled a little.
In the streets below, Commissioner Gordon inspects Joker's body, which is emanating hideous laughter.
Yeah, the laughter was cool. It stuck with me.
Gordon pulls out a velvet bag containing a laughing box. We cut to a press conference sometime later. Commissioner Gordon reads a letter from Batman to the people of Gotham. The letter tells them that if they need him, they should call.
one of Gordon's lines, not from the letter. He says, "Public safety in this city is no longer a laughing matter."
Ba-da-boom. Get it?
Oh, that's
the
good.
Joker
Yeah.
laughing. Get it, guys?
Yep.
Grown. Terrible.
And another thing I read, apparently there was supposed to be the scene like they had in Nolan's Batman of a young Gordon being on the beat when Bruce Wayne's parents are killed. And I guess they took it out. But that could have helped this Gordon.
Yeah, it could have. Knox asks how Batman will call them, or how they can call Batman, and Gordon unveils the bat signal. He shines it into the clouds above.
It looks really cool. That bat was a particularly cool bat emblem.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vicky walks away wistfully, and Alfred picks her up in the Wayne limo, telling her Bruce is going to be a little late. She is unsurprised. We pan up and see Batman majestically standing on the ledge of a building, gazing out at the bat signal lit sky. The end. So he's going to be a little late because he has to stand on a ledge and bask in his own awesomeness.
Right.
Be psychotic, you mean?
So much self-satisfaction.
I'm just going to watch the city. Okay, Batman.
All right, thanks, Bruce. So that's it. That is Batman 1989. It's funny how the better the movie, we actually have less to say about it, I feel like.
Oh, this is great. John Peters made a deal with Nike. for some product placement, and then it came into contention and a big argument, but he still got his way. And I even saw a picture of this zoomed in, but Batman is wearing black painted tennis shoes.
Yeah, dude, they're black
What?
Nikes.
They're
The
Nikes.
the bat boots are Nikes.
He's wearing
Oh my
black Nikes.
God.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Some of the marketing for this, they're like the Coca-Cola, right? Or was
Yeah.
it Diet Coke? I think with Alfred.
Oh, I remember
in
those
this one.
commercials.
Yeah.
Oh my
where
God.
like Alfred's like pouring glasses of Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
What else? McDonald's toys were
Oh,
just
yeah.
off the hook. They were
Oh, yeah.
like the best thing ever. Yeah, this movie was so weird.
This movie was so marketed.
So I am the youngest of the four of us,
Yes.
and I remember this movie being significantly better than I thought it was. And
Okay.
it's so and I don't think that it's necessarily that like, oh, this movie changed or anything. It's just that the superhero movies have gotten so much better.
Yeah.
That this thing just doesn't stand up as well.
So I was looking at it that way for a long time. And this time I watched it looking at it as the 14th one of these movies we've seen.
Which is wild.
And compared to the 13 that came before it,
Oh yeah.
it is a sea change.
Yes.
Visually. I mean, just visually alone.
Visually,
this is by
like,
far the best
Tone,
movie. Yeah.
How seriously they took it.
Well, and the evenness
If not
of
a little
the tone.
confused.
Yeah, I mean,
seriously.
There were no moments where I was like, "Oh, we're on a soundstage in England or in LA or something."
Yeah.
It's
Well, yeah.
Gotham the
no,
entire time.
But it was filmed at Pinewood Studios.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean,
Superman.
like Superman. Like if you look at the actual film Superman, it's beautifully shot. It took itself seriously. It had great special effects for the time, but it's a fucking mess of a movie. It makes no sense. It's 3 movies in one that it takes forever to do anything. It's boring for long stretches.
I feel like the only thing that could have improved this movie was more labels on everything.
Yeah.
Yes. There were not enough labels.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's the Batmobile. It's labeled clearly.
It's labeled.
So yeah, I mean, it
Bat ladder.
absolutely feels dated and cheesy compared to modern superhero films.
Watching it this time, I noticed more of the camp aspect of it because it was still there, even though it was a darker tone.
Right, it
and,
was still
and
there.
darker visually. There was still a lot of campiness in, especially the citizens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Not so much Batman.
Yeah, I mean, compared to modern ones, but it was okay. So look at the previous movies that were like superhero movies. Superman, basically, they were Superman, Supergirl, Swamp Thing, Hero at Large, Condor Man, like Toxic Avenger, but like this is so different than any superhero movie
Yes.
previously.
And what I was saying about the camp, I appreciate the camp that that this movie
was the right amount.
that this movie retained. Yes, it was the right amount.
They owned being Batman,
Yeah.
like because Batman was campy up until this point, and
Right.
even in this, they were campy.
And if you think about that, and not as Burton the Dick and Kevin Smith's anecdotes, but it's remarkable how well he got it.
Yeah.
For not being a Batman fan.
he kind of reshaped the direction that all these movies were headed in.
Absolutely
he
that.
reshaped.
Yeah.
No, he was kind of inventing the modern superhero movie.
I loved the angles.
Yes.
That I don't know if we'd seen angles done this well in a superhero movie,
Except for
so far.
Batman 66. No joke though. Those Dutch angles, like in
Yeah.
like in the museum, he'd be wreaking havoc, and it was kind of like that.
Yeah.
And that's what they did in the sub fight.
Yeah, in
we
66.
even mentioned it. Like, what
Yeah.
was Hitchcock making this Batman movie?
Yeah.
More artistically filmed than anything else.
Well, yeah,
But you're right,
And took it seriously.
Burton did
and
exactly
and Nicholson brought more cachet to this than Brando ever dreamed of bringing to Superman, because
Absolutely.
it was a major role. He was the lead essentially. I mean,
Right.
Keaton was the lead, but
He was acting. He was performing a character. He did not just get a paycheck. He did not just be a name on a poster.
You can tell, like in
Nicholson's-
Superman, that Brando, like, oh yes, he lends his name, so it gives it an air of legitimacy. But we can tell he
didn't know.
doesn't mean it.
No, like we said, he had his script written in Kal-El's bassinet in his baby. You know,
Yeah.
he couldn't even bother to remember the lyrics his friend wrote.
Nicholson
He's like wearing shiny clothes and
Yeah. Nicholson showed up acting acted and meant it.
Yeah, did a great job.
Well, and enjoyed himself too, which I think was my
Absolutely.
favorite thing
so,
to
yeah.
take away from what I read about him doing this. It's his favorite role, or one of his favorite roles.
This Joker, I still think this Joker holds up to Heath Ledger's or Joaquin Phoenix's.
Oh yeah,
it's
absolutely.
the second best Joker, if you ask me.
It was more of the classic Joker.
Yeah, the classic. Yeah, the classic Joker, but like done to the hilt, like played by a real actor. Not
Right.
I mean, Cesar Romero's fun, but he's not like acting.
Well, and even having somebody like Robin Williams or someone play this role, he's more of a comedic person. You know, Jack Nicholson is intense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's playing, like I said earlier, Jack Napier and the Joker.
Yeah.
He's doing
those are two
real
different roles.
actor stuff.
I mean, he's playing Jack from The Shining as the Joker almost.
Yeah,
where
no,
you're like,
he's never once playing this comedically.
Yeah.
He is playing this as terrifying.
Yeah, and the moments that are funny are kind of just happen to be funny.
In this era, I can't think of anybody who could have played this role better.
No one.
Same.
No,
Absolutely not. He owned this role. That brings us to the ranking. I think
it goes at number one.
Yeah, I
agree.
I've been thinking about it all day.
Unanimous.
I think Superman deserved it, but this is now
This is better.
than Superman.
We have a new number one. Batman 89 takes the number one spot. Superman is number two.
I like it when we don't have to discuss the ranking for 10 minutes.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Yeah.
That was easy.
When we're
I
pretty
like
unanimous.
discussing the ranking for 10 minutes.
I know, but Supergirl and Swamp Thing, there was a lot of like,
I'm sorry.
There's a lot of. Is
I'm
it good?
sorry.
I don't know.
Well, you even made the joke out like we'll put it to committee.
Yeah.
That's how much talking we were doing about it.
So yeah,
We're talking about what we talked about it.
If you think we vote for the rankings too long, email us, and we might talk less.
yes, you can email us at harmlessentertainment@gmail.com if you ever want to. Go ahead.
If you want to correct one of the many mistakes I've made.
Or you just want to tell us we're doing a bad job.
We got a bag of dum-dums. We will put a stamp on one and send it to you in the mail.
Right.
So
we are a bag of dum-dums.
that is the 14th movie that we have looked at next week.
Working in a coal mine.
Yeah.
Things we do for love.
Next week, we're going back to Tromaville.
Ooh, Toxie Part 2. Wow.
The Toxic Avenger Part 2 also came out in 1989.
Hope you guys were all nice and comfortable.
Yeah.
because
that's over.
Yeah, so we're going to
hide your kids.
They're irradiating everybody out there.
Yeah, they are. So that's what we're doing next week. We'll see you then, guys. Everybody, this has been Thoreau Smiley. Shit, I didn't have a second one. All right. Wait. This has been Thoreau Smiley, and I know where we are.
I'm Josh Cece, and I was supposed to die in the third act. God damn it.
Wow, you guys.
Yeah, we're terrible at this.
I'm Brian Lesh, and if you got to go with a smile.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm Alaric Weber, and I'll be at home washing my tights.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Mine was so bad.
Harmless Phosphorescence was brought to you by executive producer Atticus Burkett, producers Michael Beckwith, Jojo Birchtree, Hedda Paulson, Kirsten Reed and Alyssa Dent, and Katie and Finn Thorpe. Make sure to rate and review us on iTunes. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. Harmless Phosphorescence is a part of the Harmless Entertainment Network. Become a patron at patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. Thank you for listening.